still a few more acres left in the LDC Nexera program, with extra premiums above the very competitive basis levels. Find out why Louis Dreyfus Yorkton is a name you can trust, with a web portal that keeps you up to date and delivery options that work for you. Call today, 1-877-782-8882, or visit ldcyorkton.com.
Broadcasting from Century Studios in downtown Regina, Harvard Media presents the all-new Sportscage, where Saskatchewan comes to talk local sports. Brought to you by Regina Motor Products, proudly serving Saskatchewan for over 70 years. Visit rmpchevrolet.com today. Be a part of the show. Call 1-866-767-0620 or text 306-936-6262. The all-new Sportscage. Streaming at sportscage.com and on the radio at 620 CKRM.
Of the Sportscage. There we go. It's Barney Schinker. Going to be joined soon by my co-host Chris Harris. We got Alan and we have Colson, and we got 3 hours for you. I'm back in the saddle, kind of. If you've been playing along at home, been sick for 2 days. And for 2 days, for me to be sick for 2 days, I think the last time I was sick for 2 days was the the OG. That was the last time. And then I can count on my hand in my career as a human being, things that I've missed 2 consecutive days. But I tell you, the beauty part is my fever broke. But I'm still, when you're out there and your fever breaks, which is good. But then I get into the studio today and it's 33 degrees. Like, if I wouldn't have worn a t-shirt, they'd be rushing me to the general hospital. This is unbelievable. It's so hot in here. I need shorts immediately. And skip the dishes, some Giant Tiger shorts at some point in the program. Like I said, we got 3 hours here. Chris is going to join me in a bit. It's always fun when Harry jumps in because we're going to talk about, on the national scene when it comes to sports, TGL. What the heck is that? It's simulator golf on the professional level in some sort of arena. And I watched it last night and I still have so many questions. And I don't know where this is going to go. We're also going to talk NFL with Harry. We're going to talk NHL with Eric Francis in hour 2. He joins us. If you have any questions that you would want to ask the NHL insider for Southie Mainline Chrysler, the new king of trucks, Eric Francis, let us know. 936-6262. I feel like this is the time of the NHL season where there's just a lot of questions, and it's somewhat hard to keep track of who's buzzing and who's tanking and who's on the come up and what's going to happen at trade deadline and all that. So Eric Francis will put a bow on things for us. Hour 3, we are going to talk to head coach of the Moose Jaw AAA Warriors. AAA midget hockey, AAA U18. There is a clash tomorrow at C6, the Cooperators in Regina. The Moose Jaw Warriors, Regina Pat Canadians. I'm putting a plea out there to everybody in the area to let's pack that place tomorrow night for these kids. It's the 2 best teams in the league, in the province, and you got Maddox Schultz on the one end, and I don't want to leave out other kids because I know it's amazing. They're doing just fantastic stuff, both teams, both coaching staffs. But we're going to be joined by Trevor Weisgerber, who coaches the Moose Jaw squad. And Moose Jaws, they're not always a power. And they're there this year. And they're doing awesome things. So Trevor will join us. And then also we'll hear from Pinball Clemens in hour 3. In hour 1 here, we are trying to get Noah Zerr, who's going to come on, talk Riders, talk Trevor Reed going to the NFL, talk some signings. But we're going to talk to him about the big Winter Classic coming up in Saskatoon, ice hockey event with football players. It's a hit every year. It's at the Belshire Center on February 1st. And Noah is suiting up. And Noah's 6'8". Like, that's a tough task to probably go around. When talk some hockey with him, it'll be Interesting. And then we could bring Harry in here. He's there. And then we're going to talk to former head coach of the Moose Jaw Warriors when Rob Trumbley played there, Al Tuer. He's going to join us. Unfortunate situation with Rob Trumbley passing away at the age of 50 yesterday. Harry, we were supposed to be in Saskatoon doing this at the crop production show, but because I got who knows what, that sickness, I was like, there's no way I'm hopping in a car and driving 2 hours and 30 minutes to Prairieland Park, then getting out in who knows what condition, grinding away. I think it would have been a detriment to the brand to just have me up there sweating in front of thousands of people at the crop production show. So I said, let's just do it old school, how we usually do it. But yeah, it's been a couple of weeks since you've been on. How are you keeping? How's everything in your life?
No complaints. I could see you getting propped up Weekend at Bernie's style with just the strings and moving them around. It's funny because first of all, Happy New Year. But then I was thinking about it today. At what point do we stop saying Happy New Year to people that you haven't seen yet? Because we're 15 days in. Are we at that point now where it's like, oh yeah, Happy New Year?
I find that is a big thing nowadays. That people are like, hey, it's done. When are we done saying this? When you back it up to the 90s and even 80s, it wasn't. People just said it. You'd say whatever you want for however. Now it's just our society. We're so nitpicky about things that it's like now are we looking for a cutoff to say Happy New Year? Is it Happy New Year's or Happy New Year or what the heck is it? Is it plural? Is it singular? I don't know. I think
it's singular.
Is it?
Yeah.
Just in case two roll around.
But, in case you're jamming 2 years into one.
If I don't see you. But buddy, I'm telling you, I don't know what the heck I caught. And so here's the funny, you'll chuckle at this. I had like unbelievable neck pain. Like where my son joked that I was going to be the pigeon in like the neck brace going to do the sports show. And I went to the doctor yesterday and my doctor's awesome, family doctor. And I said, can I just get some antibiotics? Like, give me whatever, give me the diesel to clear this up in like 2 days. And then she's like, no, it's running its course, whatever it is. She's like, have you taken a COVID test? And I'm like, no, I vowed I would never take a COVID test again. And then she's like, well, it's good. I said, what is with my neck? It's because right away when you're sick and you have a sore neck, remember when meningitis was a big thing coming out party? Yep. They're like, oh, you got meningitis, your neck is sore and you're sick. So my neck is like awful. And I think she says you sprained it. And I'm like, what? So my
coughing?
I did sleep. I slept on it so bad a couple of weeks ago or a week ago. And I was like, are you serious? She's like, yeah, I think you got a neck sprain. And so I'd tell the wife that and exact words. Oh, well, that's a new one. Because she's had enough of me being sick. So I'm glad it's not meningitis.
It is staggering how many people have been sick. Seems like a lot of pneumonia and chest stuff.
Yeah, I was even buying mono stock for a bit there. I'm like, is it mono? And then mono, I gotta get blood work done, don't I? And it's like, oh, that's great. Then I go, do I gotta fast? There's nothing worse than fasting to give blood work. It's like, is it the blood work where you can just go get it done after you crush a 12-inch sub? Because then I'm fine. But if it's like, I'm starving and you gotta wait, and then you get there and the lineup's like 40 people deep, and it's like, nah. Come on. Can I come back another time?
The other thing I thought you said that was funny was your fever breaking. I honestly don't know. I don't know what that's like. I don't know what a fever breaking is. I've never had a fever break. I don't remember the last time I had a fever, to be honest with you.
When it goes down. So you don't have children, but that's one of the things, and there's all the parents out there, your kids are sick all the time when they're younger, especially when they're going to like preschool or daycares and stuff. It's like, oof. I said this to, I don't know if did I say this on the show last week? When you're picking a hockey team, like Bantam AA hockey team, if you're picking a kid and he's got a brother or a sister that goes to daycares and preschools and stuff, you might want to think twice about taking them, because that kid's going to be sick all year. And he's going to bring it into your dressing room from the younger sibling. And kids are like always sick. And it's like,
They are.
Advil. Okay, the fever broke. Give him the Advil. And I'm like, oh. Okay, so we'll get back to my sickness. I am like sweating already, Cole, sitting here. Like you might need to call Prairie Land Rentals and get a fan. This is crazy. Okay, so really on the level here. Let's go back. And sad news. Moose Jaw Warrior fans, WHL fans in general, are going to remember Rob Trumbley. Played for the Moose Jaw Warriors at 92, 93, 93, 94, and 94, 95. Also played Regina Pats Canadians from Regina. Passed away yesterday, age 50. Was released. Great career over in England and all that. So today I thought, you know what? Let's try and get former head coach of those Moose Jaw Warriors, Al Tuer, on with us. Al's traveling around with his regular job now in the NHL with the New York Rangers. He just landed, got to the hotel, and lucky enough, we got him here on the Western Pizza guest hotline. Al Tuer, thank you so much, sir, for making some time today in your travels, and unfortunate that we have to meet and talk about this, but Rob Trumbley, when you hear it and you go back and you think about your time, what comes to mind?
Real quiet kid, and for such a tough kid, he wasn't a guy to, be screaming out orders between periods or anything like that. Real quiet, real tough, like for his size. Well, he used to knock guys like right out. He'd go nighty-night, and the league actually started breaking up his fights before they could fight, because he was absolutely knocking kids out. So pound for pound might be the toughest kid I've come across. And I mean, like playing myself or coaching, like pound for pound, real tough. But another thing, like he was a good hockey player too. He was a great skater. I think he got us close to 50 points his last 2 years with us. And he rode shotgun with some good players like Curtis Brown and Ryan Smith, and took care of those guys, and gave them the room there they could do some things. So it's tragic. It's really tragic.
It's funny you say that, because that's one of the things that I heard about him a while back. And I remember, and Harry, it's kind of right in our wheelhouse, right? Where we're watching the Blades play the Warriors and the Pats and all these. And he was one of the guys that would come into Sask Place back in the day, and he would go with whoever the chucker was on the Blades. I don't know if it was Wade Belak back then or whoever. Yeah. And you talk about, Al, that like pound for pound, people talk about Jordan Tutu a lot that way as well. But people say that like Rob was just, for his size, and he didn't care. He didn't give a rip. He would go whoever.
He did. And he did fight the big guys. I can remember him fighting Wade up in Saskatoon, but they had a number of guys. In the Western League, it was a lot different back then. Every team had 2 or 3 guys that were capable of taking care of their teammates, and Rob was our guy. And for such a wiry, he was chiseled, he was cut, he was in shape. He wasn't a big, heavy guy, and he took on these monsters, and he took them down a lot of the time. He just had a lot of courage, really. He was only 5'10", and these guys are 6'5", so it was almost comical to look at it sometimes. But I don't know, like he had these long arms, man. He used to throw them right from the boots, and he connected with guys, and it was like over. I had nothing like it. Yeah.
Alan, as the words kind of spread around the hockey universe throughout the last 24 hours, the thing that I noticed that I was struck by was the outpouring from overseas. I mean, this is a guy who played there 20 years ago, and yet fans just could not say enough about the impact that he had on them. He was our favorite player. He was the greatest guy to come over here, et cetera, et cetera. Like, there was just no end. And if that's not a testament to the impact that he brought to the organizations that he played for, I don't know what is.
Well, we named him our captain. I think it was, might have been his last year with us. He was our captain, and we talked about it, and he wasn't a real vocal guy, and there were other guys that were more rah-rah, and I said, he's the guy, and if he goes hard, everybody else is going to follow him. And he did. He was a good kid, like he wasn't vocal, he wasn't kissing anybody's ass, but he was just a good kid. Yeah.
Well, Al, yeah, it's unfortunate. Again, know you're busy. Thanks so much for being able to just kind of come on and take us back to what he meant for you guys in the Warrior organization and what kind of guy he was. And appreciate you giving us some time today.
Thank you. Yeah, he was a tremendous kid. He'll be missed for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, right on. Thanks, Al. That is former head coach of the Moose Jaw Warriors, Al Tuer, when Rob Trumbley was a member of the Warriors. Yeah, Harry, that was a really, really, really good point, because you do see the outpouring of support from in England, and when you played in the English Pro League. And then, to Al's point, Al was, you look up some of Al's penalty minutes when he played, and he had like borderline 500. So for him to say pound for pound, probably one of the toughest guys he's ever been around. And he had like Curtis Brown, Ryan Smith to protect. Roman Vopat was solid. He had those kind of guys, and I remember, you always knew the tough guys in the Western League when you were going to watch games. Like I said, for us it was at Sask Place, and I was like, oh, there's that Rob Trumbley from Moose Jaw. He's gonna go someone. You watch, he's gonna go someone. Yeah, and he almost always would. So tragic news yesterday. Rob Trumbley, former Moose Jaw Warrior, passes away at the age of 50. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, we will talk to Riders offensive lineman Noah Zerr. It is the all-new Sportscage, streaming at sportscage.com.
The all-new Sports Cage is brought to you by Sherwood Co-op, proud supporter of our community with over 500 donations to local charities and nonprofits annually. See them rise.
Partial breakaway, right side stops, waits, he scores!
Then it's Dunlop Ford. Regina Pats hockey is back on your official voice for the Pats, 620 CKRM.
Tune in to Puck Drop tonight at 7 when the Red Deer Rebels take on the Regina Pats at the Brandt Center.
Game day tickets are available now from the Pats box office. Don't miss a minute of the action. Listen on air or online at 620CKRM.com. Regina Pats hockey. See them rise.
Meet your new favorite shade of green. At Nick Service, we offer the Fendt 500 Vario Series tractor that's tailor-made for your farm. Get better stability, ease of use, and comfort with one tractor. Whether you're feeding, tilling, baling, or hauling, this series is built for your farm. Experience up to 163 horsepower with this multi-purpose tractor. Visit Nick Service in Emerald Park or go to nickservice.com to get a quote on the Fendt 500 Vario Series.
Well, howdy, y'all. Wood Country Woody here. You ever been kissed by your mother-in-law? Brr, nothing chillier than that. Except your house when the wind's out of the northwest. Fret not, my friend. It's John's Manville Insulation to the rescue from Wood Country. Insulation so good, even your mom-in-law will thaw a little. Get toasty. Save money. John's Manville Insulation from Wood Country.
Your home is your castle.
In McLean, Estevan, and Tisdale. Wood-country.com.
Nobody knows the equipment market like Ritchie Brothers. If you're selling heavy equipment and trucks, Ritchie Brothers will get you the most buyers, industry expertise, and the widest selection of custom selling solutions. Sell equipment your way from your yard or a Ritchie Brothers facility. Ritchie Brothers will drive demand for your assets like no one else can. Contact your local territory manager today to get started. Visit rbauction.com to learn more about selling with Ritchie Brothers.
It's farewell to 2024 and hello to massive savings at Southie Mainline. Get up to $25,000 off remaining 2024 inventory. That's huge. Save up to $19,000 on 2024 heavy duties. That's gigantic. Plus, we have the 2024 Jeep Compass starting at $34,945. Southie Mainline is a small town feel with bigger than city discounts where customers show up and leave feeling like family. Find you your perfect vehicle at the best price in Saskatchewan. Southie Mainline, just 30 minutes from Regina. It's worth the drive every time, guaranteed.
Welcome back to the all-new Sports Cage. Connect with the show. Call 1-866-767-0620 or text 306-936-6262.
Welcome back. Sports Cage for Regina Motor Products. No charge battery inspections plus instant savings. Visit RMP today. I got some massive Allen pits going in here. Something's got to give on this air conditioner situation. It's Barney, Chris, Colson, and Allen today. I'm coming off of sickness, if you're just tuning in, and it's like 33 degrees in the studio. Slight exaggeration, but not by much. Tonight, if you are in the Regina area and you don't want to cook and you Western pizza maybe isn't your thing, you can go watch the Regina Pats play, and it is Wiener Wednesday at the Brent Center. It is the Regina Pats and Red Deer Rebels, 7 p.m. puck drop. The game can be heard right here on 620 CKRM with the pregame show starting at 6:30. Elsewhere in the Western Hockey League for extreme hockey and sport, the Yeti sale continues there. We got Portland in Saskatoon to take on the Blades. Sure, a lot of expense accounts from Crop Production Show will be gallivanting over to Sask Place, or whatever it's called now, Credit Union Center, SaskTel Center, one of the three, and watch the Blades in Portland. Edmonton's in Swift Current, Brandon's in Victoria. Lethbridge continuing their U.S. adventure, taking on Tri-City and Spokane and Kelowna. Speaking of hockey, coming up on February 1st in Saskatoon at the Merlis Belcher Center, it is the Winter Classic for the Rough Rider Foundation, big charity event. It's Team Chris Getzlaff, coached by Kian Schaefer-Baker, taking on Brett Lawther's team, coached by a Joe. Somebody's got to get one of those guys the Reg Dunlop jacket. Probably a Joe. First, get him to watch Slapshot. He's a Canadian kid, though. He's probably watched Slapshot. He's a big Brooks Bandits fan. And get those guys on the bench with a little plaid suit, leather coat. Get a book, underline certain scenes. Let's go out on the Western Pizza guest hotline. Great night for Western Pizza if you're not going to go eat hot dogs at the Brant Center. Perfect pizza, all the Greek food that you love, like souvlaki, ribs, and salads. Noah Zerr joining us again. You're a friend of the program. This is like 2 times in the last month. I feel super privileged. You're up there in Saskatoon. So now word on the street is you are going to be twirling in this hockey game up there. Can you confirm that?
Yeah. I don't know about twirling. More like trying not to fall on my face every 30 seconds, but it'll be fun. It's always a good time.
Do you know what team you're on?
No, I think they usually do it's like a fun little draft announcement like the night before. You have no idea. Everything kind of gets picked behind the scenes, and then you show up and they announce the teams, and there's some rah back and forth in the old lounge about who's going to score the most goals and which team's going to win. And we end up usually scoring 10 goals aside and going to a shootout somehow every year, but it's a blast.
That's awesome. Kian Schaefer-Baker as a coach or a Joe. does it? Which one would you lean to? Which one would be more your kind of? Who would be the player's coach there?
Honestly, I feel like they're. It's hard to go wrong with either of them. You know what I mean? They're both fun-loving, kind of goofy guys, but they're very similar to each other. They're both kind of raw. They get the boys hyped up and get them to go run through some faces and score some goals. And I don't know. It's hard to pick. They both got great style too, so I'm sure one or two of them is going to be rocking amazing suits come game day.
Okay, what height and weight right now for you in the off season is what?
I think I'm about 6'7" and sitting around like 330, 335.
Okay, when's the last time you skated, like in a rec, in a kind of just a pickup hockey game?
Probably the last Winter Classic we had.
Really? So you're kind of you're a once a year guy. You're that guy that's like, where's my gear?
Yeah.
I didn't even air it out last time.
Played, yeah, seriously, I might have to do some pregame washing for sure. But it's fun. I grew up playing hockey, so I grew up in a small town of Langeberg and played hockey there for 10 years, and it's always fun to get back on the skates. But yeah, there's definitely some rust to be shaken off.
So I'm not gonna lie, the idea of seeing you in your 6'7" 330-pound glory out there is intriguing. From your standpoint, who are you looking forward to seeing out there, and who do you think fans will get a kick out of seeing?
I wonder if Peter Godber's going to show up again in his football helmet, the Dan Clark-esque get up. I'd love to see him out there. He was such a blast last year. He's a good team guy, and he doesn't take himself too seriously, so he's a lot of fun to be around. And yeah, other than that, I think there's plenty of good hockey to be played on both sides. Like I know Ryan Getzlaff was there last year. I'm not sure who's coming this year, but Chris will be there. Like all those guys are just a blast to be around. So it'll be fun to just get back on the ice and see who plays the best after a year off.
I skated with Brett actually last week. I was supposed to skate last night again. I couldn't. He scored 3 sick backhand goals in the game. And I'm not talking like come in and just like little backhand. Like we're coming in on an angle, not a lot of room, shelved it. So he's like training. You could tell. Like he's getting ready for this thing, which is awesome. We're having him on the show, I think, Friday this week. When we're in Kenora, we're going to have him on. So let's go back to the Langenberg piece here, because when we had you on, of course, Langenberg, Jess Moskaluk, and you, right? The two pride of Langenberg. But when you go back to when you were playing, I guess probably Adam, Pee Wee-ish, maybe Bantam in there, were you the biggest kid on the ice?
Oh, by far. It was a bit crazy. I think every time I took the ice, you heard parents complaining from the sidelines going, there's no way that kid's 10 years old. There's just no way. I think I was
just birth certificate controversy.
Skates. Yeah. They just had to trust that I was of age, I guess. Yeah. But yeah, it was a bit crazy. I made up for it with my lack of coordination and my overall hockey skill. So they didn't have too much to worry about. But yeah, there was definitely some fear every now and then.
What position did you play?
I started off as a center.
Wow, that's a lot to handle down low.
Yeah, center and winger mostly.
Forward.
That's surprising.
Yeah,
you think it with your size, they'd just be like, we're putting him on the point.
Yeah, maybe. They probably should have, but I think growing up, I might have had a lack of skill at skating backwards, so they didn't want me as the last line of defense.
300 and what was it? 320-ish poundage you're weighing? 340?
Like, 330 around there.
What kind of flex do you use hockey stick wise?
Oh, the stiffest one you can find.
Like you might as well go with the old wood ones, and just for safety issues.
Yeah, Yeah, I think I have like it's a Bauer Total 1 that I bought when I was in like grade 12 probably. And
You
it
might need to
still
tape two
works
together.
for me. Yeah, honestly. I've had to put a plug in every stick I've ever used, and it still barely works.
Oh,
But it
man.
is fun.
That is so like that is a big body on skates. Like even like the rivets on skates and all that. Like when you skate, people are gonna hear you come. I love it. I think it, and I would to be honest, if I was a Joe or Kean Schaefer Baker, it's like park yourself in front of that net, especially on the power play, and then we'll have guys buzz around and rebound, and then you just cause havoc in front of the net there. No, it's
that was pretty much every coach I've ever had teaching point. Just park right in front of the net. Don't go anywhere. Don't do anything else.
The parents are yelling, "Get that goon off the ice!"
Yeah.
How old is he? Seriously. Works at the mine. Let's talk some football here. That's going to be a lot of fun.
For sure.
When I say the name Trevor Reed, like what comes to mind after playing with him last year?
I had the pleasure of playing beside Trevor for most of the year. Just kind of through practice, and then we started, I think, 4 games beside each other. So I've had some experience with him for sure, and he's like probably a world-class athlete. He can handle a playbook pretty well. I think there were some new concepts that some of us Canadian guys helped him with a little bit. Don't want to take too much credit. He's his own man, and he worked his butt off all year long and started every regular season game we had. And in a year like last year, that was a bit uncommon. So he's a warrior, and he fought through a lot of things, and yeah, I'm just so happy to see him kind of having success and going to the NFL and getting a shot, because I think he deserves it for sure.
What do you think is the biggest thing that he'll need to overcome in order to stick, to make an impact?
I think it's hard to say. I don't think he lacks anything physically. I think physically he's a specimen. Like last year, we'd finish a long drive and he'd run to the end zone and do a backflip. Right, like he's 310 pounds and flying through the air.
Wow.
He's probably the most athletic lineman we had by a stretch. I think for him to have success, he's just gotta get to work, and yeah, I think it's the NFL, right? So you're not there for very long, and you got to make the best of your opportunity. And I think he has all the tools to do that. And I think honestly, good things will happen.
Other side of the ball, a couple of signings this week. Rider fans are excited for sure. Jameer Thurman and Malik Carney are back in the fold.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Huge. I think it's huge for us. I had the pleasure of playing with Malik and Thurman when I was in Hamilton 2 years ago, I guess now, and they were the key pieces then, and they're the key pieces now. I think we have a lot of great defensive players, and you can't take anything away from those guys like Micah and CJ Revis and all these guys that are just amazing athletes. But Thurman and Carney were showstoppers for us last year. They were amazing and just fun to watch.
And it kind of, talked to Coach Mace, I think it was last week, and it's like any job, any profession, that if your contract's up and I want to stay here, you want to, this is good. It's a good fit. The re-signing of guys that we're seeing in Rider Nation, it's a testament to what's going on with the organization in that locker room with the coaches.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I think it's a culture change. I think it's where guys want to be. I think I'm super excited as a rider and as a fan of the Riders kind of growing up. I think we're kind of coming back to that culture that I think we were at around that 2013 and 07 Grey Cup. It felt like a family, and it felt like these are guys that you could have lunch with, and these are guys that kind of understand what it means to live and work in Saskatchewan, and And I think this is kind of the second coming of that. I think these guys are happy to be here, and they're excited to get to work, and they're excited to just represent Rider Nation.
The one thing that came out in early December was the report card on every team. And, you know, some teams are complaining about their planes, and it's the Winnipeg. It's like, it's not your plane. It belongs to WestJet. But, you know, anytime I've ever been around what you guys are doing there at Mosaic Stadium, like it is first class, above board around, you know, you come from the Huskies organization on the college front. They do everything top notch there as well. Pretty tough to nitpick, to find things that are wrong with the organization when it comes to a report card like that.
Yeah, I think absolutely. I think from the moment I first walked in the door, you know, I had never really been inside New Mosaic until I signed with the team, and they gave me the tour, and right away, you know, there's a lot of good things around the league, and I've had maybe the unfortunate circumstance of seeing a few locker rooms in my short years. But as soon as I walked into Mosaic Stadium, it was a world of difference, you know, from the training facilities to the rehab stuff to where the trainers work to where we get our food, you know, just the setup in general. The guys that take care of us, you know, it's A++ probably across the board for me and my teammates.
You've probably been in the Langenburg Warriors senior hockey dressing room somewhere along the lines too. You can kind of tell the guys, hey, I've seen some beauty rooms.
Yeah, I try not to go around advertising, but yeah, you get to see some cool stuff.
And then just the other thing is, last time we had you on, you told the cool story about your dad getting tickets to the Grey Cup. I think it was the 13 Grey Cup. You know, and how awesome that was, and just the family and you being from Sasky and all that. It's a little bit weird, and being a Saskatchewan guy, you know this, that we don't have a schedule yet. People like to kind of plan things in Saskatchewan around the Rider schedule, and now we're getting into, you know, we're January 15th here. We don't have a schedule.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't have too much advice on that, but yeah, I can totally understand where you guys are coming from. I think we're just as nervous on the player side of things. We want to see where guys are lining up and where our bye weeks are and what the season's going to look like. And it's an anxious time for sure, especially heading into February, free agency, lots of change and lots of big steps ahead of us for sure.
Yeah, and it's like we got to get this going. There's weddings. They're planning weddings in Langenburg, and want to do it around Rider games. Like, come on, let's get this out. Okay, it's going to be a lot of fun. February 1st. I can't wait to see it. Like, any training before, you got finding an ODR late at night and kind of going to do a little bit on your own, like Dean Youngblood style, or you going into this thing cold?
Probably a little bit of shinny with the guys. Some late night beers and a couple post games or something like that.
Perfect. It's
all
awesome.
The training you need.
Yeah. Noah,
sounds right.
Thanks so much for hopping on today. Taking some time. It's going to be a lot of fun. Always appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, great to talk to you guys. Thanks again.
Oh, what a beauty. Good Saskatchewan boy. Offensive lineman for our Saskatchewan Roughriders, Noah Zerr, from Langenburg, Saskatchewan. Yeah, Harry, I'm telling you, back end, reach alone, right? Like,
for sure.
But then it's like, yeah, okay, well, just get the puck deep and let him do his thing.
Yeah.
Go in front. If you want to go in the corner, go ahead. If not, stand in front. Bang away. Have fun, goalie. Especially if the goalie's like a little guy. Oof. Tough assignment there. It is the all-new Sports Cage. We are streaming at sportscage.com, and we are on the home of the Saskatchewan Roughriders, 620 CKRM.
It's time to turn up the heat on trades at Crestview. For a limited time, get a $2,500 trade-in bonus on any trade-in. We're going to work to get you the same or similar payment to what you got right now. And we got something for everybody. Over 200 brand new vehicles, Jeeps, Rams, Caravans, and so much more. Plus, Capital's 100K giveaway is back in Crestview. Check out capital100k.ca for your chance to win. We're turning up the heat on trades at Crestview Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Proud member of the Capital Automotive Group.
Act fast when wildlife damage happens. Don't wait. Delaying may impact your claim. All Saskatchewan producers may be eligible to receive funding for both preventative measures and wildlife damage concerns. To learn more about wildlife damage prevention and compensation options, contact your local SCIC office or call 1-888-935-0000. SCIC, here at every turn.
Hockey is back, and what better way to kick off the season than a visit to Extreme Hockey and Sports? Check out the Bauer Fit Lab for your custom skate fitting. And stay tuned for the new shooting lane to provide customers with the best shopping experience as possible. And off the ice, look great. Visit their umbrella marketing professionals for all your team and corporate apparel. Extreme Hockey and Sport, 1425 McIntyre Street and the Pro Shop, conveniently located at the Cooperator Center.
Get your equipment out of the rain and snow and under the roof of a new storage building from Olympic Buildings. Have a warm, dry place to work and keep everything out of the cold. Olympic Buildings, buildings to meet your budget. Visit olympic-buildings.ca.
Welcome back to the all-new Sports Cage. Get social with us. Follow us on X at Sports Cage. Watch our video stream at sportscage.com and always on the radio at 620 CKRM.
Welcome back, Sports Cage for Regina Motor Products on this Wednesday. Like we said, little hockey game in the Regina City this evening. If you want to go watch Regina Pats, Red Deer Rebels, 7 p.m. at the Brandt Center. It is a Wiener Wednesday. Junior B, Prairie Junior Hockey League. Don't think it's Wiener Wednesday down there, but it's a great barn. Probably got an awesome concession. In Assiniboia, the Silver Foxes traveling in to take on the Southern Rebs. Silver Foxes are 4 points up on the Rebels in the Bill Johnston division. And little senior love around the area tonight. What do we got? We got Kenaston and Davidson. Huge clash in the Sask Valley Hockey League. Two of the top teams there, 8 p.m. Carlisle against the Oil Kings in the Big Six. Carlisle on coolbet.com sitting 4.5 point favorite in that one. So there's some hockey around tonight. Okay, so Harry, let's talk about this. Colson, thank you, by the way, for putting this fan here. This is making things a lot better. Last night, I have a chance to tune in, and it's more because I knew we were doing the show together today, and I was like, well, we're going to have to talk about this TGL, this golf league. And I know they started it the week before, and I briefly just saw some stuff on social media, and I was like, oh, okay. And yesterday I watched it. Cool. Definitely cool. I'm not indoor sim golf guy. Like, I went to the Royal Regina last couple weeks ago. They got awesome sims there. It's great. I've never really got the putting side of it when it comes, but this is different. Like, this is sim golf. Like, they're hammering it into a screen, but the screen is the size of a screen you'd see at like a Cineplex Odeon theater. And then they move, and then they actually putt on a real putting green, and there's real bunkers and different. So here it is right here. You see the putting green. Okay, now, so this putting green, as soon as they're done the hole, it shifts and moves and undulates.
Yeah. It's got, I think, 6,000 hydraulic gate jacks and gears underneath it, so they can contour it to however they want the configuration to be for the next hole. And then it spins as well, and the hazards move, etc. So there's essentially bunkering around every green, but the contour of every green is different.
And if you watched last night, like Tiger Woods, Max Homa, and Kevin Kisner from Jupiter, Florida,
Jupiter,
they got cooked hard by the Alley Golf Club. Like, it wasn't even close. That was the tough thing for ESPN, and I'm sure they're watching the Nielsen ratings or whatever the heck they call them, is like, oh, people just dropped off because this thing was a runaway. But they made it entertaining. Kisner sculls one out of the bunker that luckily it hits the flag because it could have taken out someone in the first row of the stadium. The other thing that I thought was real interesting was he chunked one because they're hitting off real grass.
Yeah.
And it was early in the match, and he chunked one.
Yeah. So, yeah, it just shows that one of the things I was reading today, they were talking about how everybody was flying wedges over the greens and nobody was hitting greens because they don't have the benefit of the feel, the depth perception. That's gone. So they can't rely on muscle memory and feel and knowing what a 120-yard shot feels like. So they were having trouble hitting greens. But that real green, I don't know if you saw it, the chunks that they're hitting off of, those things weigh 1,500 pounds each. And they're bringing them in with cranes and laying them into place. Like, this thing is not a cheap endeavor. That is for sure. And the other problem is that that's 2 weeks in a row they've had blowouts. Because last week, Bay Club blew out New York, which was Ricky Fowler's team. There was a blowout last week too. So they need something to kind of maybe to make it a little tighter, to make it a little more intriguing, but they're going to have to come up with creative ways to keep viewers. But ratings were good the first week. I haven't seen the numbers for last night yet, but they drew almost 1 million people week one.
Smart that they put Tiger week 2, because the week 1 you're going to get the intriguing, let's just watch it. And then, I watched it, because of Tiger Woods yesterday. 936-6262. If you have any thoughts on this and what you think. I was wondering at one point though, and I thought actually like Tiger's body held up, right? Because we're used to seeing when Tiger Woods goes and plays in a golf tournament, it's like, okay, after day 2, he's just kaput. Like the body can't handle it anymore. So he looked good. When they were starting to get dusted, I was like, are we going to start seeing him limp around or some ailment is coming? And all that. His son was chirping him. That was funny. The timeout thing was cool.
Yeah.
Hammer. And it's like, they're and I'm thinking they're playing music, right? It's like club music, and I'm like, oh, this is taking Tiger back to his early 2000s. And then like Max Homa. The one thing, there's two things. I'm very curious on how long it lasts. Like, what do you think the shelf life on this is?
God, I would say 3 years max. I think that they will do a second season just because they want to just see if it has any legs to it. But if it goes longer than 3, I'll be surprised.
Maybe 9 holes or 12 holes. Like it seemed long. Like they would have had me for that shorter period of time. Like a cool 9-hole something or other. Make it really cool. I didn't mind. And again, I'm not like big indoor golf guy. Makes you want to go play for sure. I think it's kind of like one of those things, but the quirky holes where it's like you had to hit to this target or you have to hit here. What's your take on that? Would you rather see? But I guess these guys play all the big holes. Like for you and I to go big, hey, we're playing Augusta. For these guys, it's like it's called April, bud.
I do like the fact that they're just conceived holes. They're created. They're made in a lab. They can be as quirky or as straightforward as they want them to be. My only complaint is there's only 30 of them. I think it's 30 that they created, and I've watched 2 weeks in a row, bits and pieces, and I've already seen holes repeated. Like that spear one. Like I think it's going to get a little like, oh, they're playing this spear hole again, and I don't know. I wish they would. I almost wish they were playing new holes every week, but I feel like the repetitiveness of playing the same hole every week is going to get a little tedious. I think they need more expansive course hole selection.
And the other thing too is I wonder if it would make it a lot better if just let these guys get buckled, like just like indoor golf leagues around, just let them guzzle and all that. Like they were kind of making it fun and Justin Rose seems like a really good guy.
Right. He for surely does. I think that would definitely add that kind of just level of fun to it. But the other part that I feel goes the other way is that something like this takes money. And so they're constantly plugging sponsors. They're doing interviews with the sponsors. Like these guys, or like the teams are owned by celebrity. Like they did an interview with Serena Williams, and it's just, are golf fans really interested to see what Serena Williams has to say about owning this team? Like, I just feel like that stuff, it's going to die a death of just corporate takeover because they got to give the sponsors their juice for supporting this thing. So I think that's going to get a little old too, but it's interesting. It's definitely, it's something that, I don't know. It's something to fill that void. There's worse things on TV.
There's definitely worse things on TV. We'll talk to our NHL insider in hour 2, Eric Francis, and he's a huge golf nut, as we all know. So we're curious to get his take on it. We are running up against news here. Hour 1 in the books. It is the Sports Cage. We are streaming. If you're watching that stream, thank you very much. Hammer the subscribe button on YouTube at sportscage.com. And we are on the home of sports in Saskatchewan, 620 CKRM.
620 CKRM is your home to country's greatest hits and the 90s at 9. 1 full hour featuring the biggest hits of the 90s. Garth, Reba, Alan, Shania, George, and so much more. No cassette tape or CDs required, and 90s mullets are optional. 90s at 9 for the town of Wolseley and the voice of Saskatchewan. 620 CKRM.
Storms can be unpredictable. Keep your lights on and furnace running no matter the weather with a generator from Shorty Generators. Whether house or farm, if you need power, they're the ones to call. Now is the season to buy or service your generator at your home, business, or farm to be sure you always have power when and where you need it. And Shorty can service all makes, models, and sizes of generators. Shorty Generators. Power where you need it. ShortyGenerators.ca.
Hey farmers, the Crop Production Show is here. Come on down and meet Core Grain and Hall C, booths C44 and C45, to chat with our experts about smarter grain storage and handling solutions. Core Grain is your trusted partner for grain storage solutions across the prairies, dedicated to offering you the best grain storage and handling systems. We work tirelessly to customize grain monitoring and conditioning systems to fit your specific vineyard plan, now and in the future. Core Grain, doing the right thing for your farm. See you at the Crop Production Show.
Hey, it's me, Terry, the Talking Tire. Have I got something for you? Regina Motor Products has got instant rebates on all the top brands when you buy a set of 4 tires. That's a $120 rebate on new Bridgestone Blizzak tires, $90 rebate on new Pirelli Ice Zero Asymmetrico tires, or $70 rebate on all other Pirelli tires, $90 rebate on new Firestone winter tires, $65 rebate on new Michelin tires, and $50 rebate on new BF Goodrich tires. Regina Motor Products has your winter tires. Visit rmpchevrolet.com.
What do you think you're doing?
Bench presses. It's too cold to go to the gym, so I made one in the garage here. I'm going to wail on my pecs, and then I'm going to do my back.
Lester, since Busy Bee Doors fixed our garage door, you've been spending all your time in here.
That's because it's nice in here now. Do you mind? I'm trying to work out here. Unless you want to spot me.
Lester, you're not taking over this garage. You can be sure of that.
That's why I called Busy Bee.
Call Busy Bee Doors. They can fix or replace any commercial or garage door. Busy Bee Doors, the garage door specialists.
At Freeze Tallman, we know that you have a lot of options when it comes to purchasing lumber and other building materials. We'd like to take this time to thank you for choosing us to supply your building materials for over 65 years. We're proud to have been a part of turning your plans into reality. So for all of your upcoming projects, see Freeze Tallman in Regina and Fort Capel. Let's get you building.
It's 4 o'clock. Good afternoon. It's partly cloudy and it's 0 in Regina. I'm Corey Atkinson from the Harvard Media News Center with 620 CKRM News. The Canadian government has granted approval of Bunge's acquisition of Viterra. Canadian approval is contingent on Bunge following several conditions, including keeping the Viterra Bunge Canada head office in Regina for a minimum of 5 years, with at least 200 employees. Bunge Viterra will also have to sell 6 grain elevators located in the vicinity of Bunge canola crush plants at Nipawin and Altona, Manitoba. This is to address competition concerns raised by farmers. Saskatchewan Agriculture Minister Darrell Harrison made this comment to reporters in Saskatoon this morning.
I fully expect anything that was laid out will be followed. I have no doubt that the Bunge Viterra management will ensure that is followed through on.
The two multinational grain companies announced the deal in June 2023, but it requires approval from several countries, including Canada. The Saskatchewan Ministry of Agriculture is looking for people willing to be crop reporters during the growing season. Crops Extension Specialist with the Ministry of Ag, Tice Masich, says a few people have inquired about it at Crop Production Show.
At the show so far, we've had a few people sign up to be crop reporters, which has been definitely a good sign, but we welcome crop reporters from all over the province. Even if your RM does have a crop reporter in it, we value all the data we get from our reporters, so even if your RM already has a reporter, we still encourage you to sign up because
crop reporters contribute to the weekly provincial crop report by gathering data such as rainfall amounts and crop conditions. The first carbon rebate of 2025 is being paid out today to households in provinces that use the federal carbon pricing system, even as the future of the rebate program itself remains uncertain. Karen Rebo reports.
For a family of 4, the first of this year's 4 Canada Carbon Rebate checks or bank deposits will pay out anywhere from $190 in New Brunswick and $280 in Ontario to $450 in Alberta. With the Liberals' Keystone climate policy under sustained political attack, the federal government has attempted to improve its communications on the file by arguing that most Canadians get more money back from the program than they pay. Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre has vowed to axe the tax if elected. Even Liberal leadership prospect Mark Carney told a Senate committee in May the carbon tax had served its purpose until now. Karen Rebo, The Canadian Press.
And a ceasefire agreement between Israel and Hamas has been confirmed by the United States and Qatar. The ceasefire brings hopes of winding down the most deadly and destructive war that Israel and Hamas have ever fought. Joe Biden says the deal is the exact one he proposed in March and will play out in 3 phases.
During phase 1, the Palestinians can also return to their neighborhoods in all the areas of Gaza. And the surge of humanitarian assistance into Gaza will begin, and the innocent people can have a greater access to these vital supplies.
Benjamin Netanyahu's office has still not immediately confirmed the deal's acceptance. That's your 620 CKRM News. Read more stories from around your community and around the province at sasktoday.ca and 620ckrm.com. Your weather is next.
Sask Lotteries has 50 years of winning behind us. And you know what that means? Lots of winning numbers. Numbers like over 1,200 organizations funded and 12,000 plus groups supported. $6 million given away annually in community grants. And the winningest number of all? $1.4 billion given back to the people of Saskatchewan through sport, culture, and recreation. And we're just getting started. Help us grow the next 50. Learn more at sasklotteries.ca.
Announcing the new Claas Lexion 8900 Combine. You can expect more power for increased capacity. Claas, where combines are not just made, they are made for more. Claas's cutting-edge machinery and support are more than just a promise. They're a commitment to your success because they understand you are made for more too. Make the best of every harvest with Claas. For full products and availability, visit claas.com.
And now your 620 CKRM precision weather forecast for Linex Regina. Serious protection, killer looks, 1865 McCarra Street. Tonight, partly cloudy and a low of -8. Tomorrow, partly sunny and a high of +1, but some gusty evening winds. And then on Friday, snow showers and a mix of sun and cloud, with the temperature falling to -13. At this hour in Moose Jaw, it's mostly cloudy. Winds are from the west at 37, gusting to 46, and it's +1. Regina is partly cloudy. Winds are from the northwest at 38, and it's 0. For more local news that matters to you, subscribe to our daily newsletter at sasktoday.ca.
When you want the best for your truck, you want Line-X. Your truck has withstood the harshest elements Saskatchewan has thrown at it. Rocks, gravel, rain, sleet, and snow, and left with no chips, no rust. Line-X protective coating keeps your truck's bed liners, rocker panels, and bumpers looking like brand new. Don't settle for Brand X. Go with Line-X. It's serious protection. Come see why everybody loves taking their truck to Line-X Regina for their rocker panels, bumpers, and more. Line-X. Make your truck complete. 1865 McCarra Street.
Hello there, this is George Leith, Managing Partner at Harvard Media. I'm proud to announce that SaskToday.ca is now under local Saskatchewan ownership. Sask Today's team of local journalists are on the ground in communities across the province. We focus on local topics that matter to you: community news, agriculture, business commentary, local sports in our all-new Sportscage, and more. Visit and bookmark SaskToday.ca and sign up for our daily news digest. SaskToday.ca, from Harvard Media, everywhere.
Broadcasting from Century Studios in downtown Regina, Harvard Media presents the all-new Sportscage, where Saskatchewan comes to talk local sports. Brought to you by Regina Motor Products, proudly serving Saskatchewan for over 70 years. Visit rmpchevrolet.com today. Be a part of the show. Call 1-866-767-0620 or text 306-936-6262. The all-new Sportscage. Streaming at sportscage.com and on the radio at 620 CKRM.
Hour 2, we're an hour in, and the temperature in the studio is now down to what are we at? 27 degrees? Just a comfy 27 in the studio. Feels good if you've been rocking a fever for the last 3 days. Barty Schinker, Chris Harris, Colson, and Alan with you today. In hour 2 here, we're going to go out on the Western Pizza Guest Hotline right away. Talk to Eric Francis, our NHL insider for Southie Mainline Chrysler. Harry and I are getting into some NFL chat a little later. Don't forget, WHL in the city tonight. Regina Pats hosting Red Deer. It's Winter Wednesday. Portland's in Saskatoon. Edmonton's traveling into Swift Current. Brandon's in Victoria. Lethbridge and Tri-City. Spokane and Kelowna. SJHL, Weyburn 3-2 shootout win over Larange last night. Graham Brown, 45 saves in a losing effort there. Good job in the pipes. Tonight, Larange continues their southern swing in Estevan. It's probably like plus 15 down there today. It's like plus 2 here in Regina. Kindersley's in Melfort. That is one of the worth the drive games to watch of the week for Southie Mainline Chrysler. Humboldt's in Notre Dame. One game in the Junior B Loop. Silver Foxes taking on the Southern Rebels in Assiniboia, 8 p.m. puck drop there. And then some senior love. Kenniston's in Davidson, Carlisle's in the Oil Kings. You can always, if we're missing anything, let us know on the text line, 936-6262, 306-936-6262. You're pointing at me like
Can we quickly touch on that Rosetown corroborate cross-check?
Oh.
Where does that rank in the annals of cheap shots and viciousness that you've seen in a hockey rink?
Right up there. Right.
It's got to be, right?
Yeah, and then there was the odd person. Like there was a couple, I didn't read through all the thread. Some people were trying to justify it, and I think they were just doing that to be donkeys and for clickbait. But yeah, if you didn't see it, I don't think the Sportscage retweeted it. It's at the Monday Nooner podcast. It's just a vicious cross-check right to the face of a guy. It was a boarding penalty. Maybe he makes a big hit, boarding penalty, but then Buddy just gives him. You know what it kind of reminds me of? And I don't remember seeing it with my eyes, but I just remember the story when Mark Jansen from the Regina Pats got cross-checked in the face by Kevin Kaminsky at the old arena. And Kaminsky used that blue Easton. Eastons were just coming out, the aluminum. It was a blue Easton, and gave Mark Jansen a cross-check right in the face. And then we practiced on there. I think it was like the Eagle Barons or whatever at the old arena in Saskatoon the next day. And the pool of blood was still visible underneath. But that one, people talk about how vicious that one was. I can't remember what the suspension was. This is like obviously banned from the year. And then, but you said there could be an assault charge.
For sure. If that, I hate to be such a severe penalty, but if that's not a lifetime ban, I don't know what would warrant it. The fact that he wasn't looking is what made it 5 times worse. That it's not only a cross check to the neck, but it's when the guy is not even looking. Like, you could seriously break a guy's neck with that type of force and that type of like violent impact. It was insane.
The other thing that I was thinking is, imagine if it was we still were using aluminum hockey sticks or wood, like the big, thick Sherwood that would never break except the blade was just a hunk of junk. Like, that's not cool.
Crazy.
So we can maybe touch on that too a little bit later. It is time to talk some NHL.
Time now for Inside the NHL with Eric Francis on the all-new Sportscage. Inside the NHL is brought to you by Southie Mainline, the Mainline Automotive Group's newest king of trucks. Southie Mainline, just 30 minutes north of Regina. Worth the drive every time. Guaranteed.
It is worth the drive. Eric, I heard Maz teeing you up on this on Wednesday. $25,000 off remaining 2024 inventory, and he said you would look good in a 2024 heavy duty. Are you a heavy duty kind of diesel, maybe like a big truck guy, or are you a sports car guy?
No,
SUV.
I'm an SUV guy. It's for 30 years all I've driven SUV. I have this notion that one day I do feel like as an Albertan, like a very proud Albertan, I should own a pickup truck, even if for just 6 months or something, just to stay ideated and feel the power and be that ass that tailgates everybody in a snowstorm. Like, I just want to be that guy so bad. I want to take up double parking spots. I want to do all that stuff, but I haven't had a chance yet. So I'm hoping one day.
And let it idle for hours. Just leave it running all night. It is Eric Francis. Save up to $19,000 off right now on 2024 heavy duties. Plus, they have Jeep Compasses starting at $34,945. Okay, Colson, what are you going to say something? Sorry, Eric.
I have a question for you about pickup trucks, because when I was at the Circle K hockey tournament the other day, it's because it's so popular. It's like a thing in Calgary. Getting a parking spot at that tournament is like found money. I realized, and I've been here 30 years, every single pickup truck backs into a spot. Is that a thing? Is that like, because I never back into a parking spot ever, but I guess it makes sense for the easy getaway. Is that a thing when you have a pickup truck? Because like it was all pickup trucks and they were all backed into their spots. I'm like, is this a thing that I never really noticed before?
I think it's easier to park when you back it. For me, with my wife drives the big SUV. I drive the Acadian. Like, it's easier to back in.
Okay.
So I'm going to let you boys in on a secret.
Oh, here we go.
Here's the story. Here's why you back it in. Because when you're parking into spots, it's tight. So when you open your driver's side door, you're tight to the other driver door. When you park the other way in, you've got more room to swing out your door, and it's easier to get in and out of.
Fantastic.
Veteran.
God, truck drivers are smarter than I thought. That's amazing.
Yes, we are.
Okay, we start. Colson did some fast work here, and we are going to start. We're going to throw you a little bit curve. Have you seen this dirty cross check in the senior game in Saskatchewan this week, Eric?
No, but you want to show it to me? Can you guys show it to me or no?
We're sure, if you're watching the video, if you're watching the stream. Okay, so this is the long one. Okay, so Buddy's going to take a boarding penalty right here. Watch, boom, bad. Okay, not that bad. Okay, play goes up the ice. Schnipp is going to put it on net. Good save. Oh, and then boom. You might have to rewind it. You're watching at center ice. You might have missed it.
Yeah, I saw it. That is.
I can't believe the guy got up.
So what's the? I guess.
Oh, we lost him. We'll get him right back though. He's going to ask, "What's the punishment?" We're going to ask what the punishment was. You cut out, or what kind of truck does he drive?
In a senior league. What?
Are we going to ask what the punishment was, or what kind of truck he drives?
He's really a truck driver, that guy. There's no question about it. But I mean, like, it's a senior league, so I guess it all just happened. We're going to go through it, but criminal charges pending or what?
I don't know that for sure. Harry's thinking there could be. Would it be a lot to go through criminal charges on that, Harry?
No, it ultimately depends on the guy who's the victim. I mean, they're not going to lay charges without him wanting to do it. So it basically rests on him. So if he wants to explore it, then they'll investigate it and go from there. But if he doesn't want it, then it's done already. And it's up to the league to suspend him however they want. Let's
go down this rabbit hole. What's the dirtiest NHL one that you guys both remember? Eric, first to you.
McSorley. Got to be McSorley on Brashear.
I'm interviewing him on Friday. I'm not going to touch on that at the hockey day in Saskatchewan.
I'm going to go Claude Lemieux on Chris Draper. Like, I don't know, guys. There's been a ton of them over the years, but I just saw that there was a documentary out. I just happened to see it again recently, and it just reminds you because it was so. I think the term that has to be involved, if you're going to call it the dirtiest, is predatory. Like, and given the situation and given the hatred between the two teams and given the history leading up to that hit, there was no question in the world that it was 100% predatory, premeditated, and then they followed through with a hit as damaging as we've seen. So I also think, and I don't know where this is in the courts right now, but that guy who died in England, when that skate sliced him in the neck, I was so glad that criminal charges were laid on that guy. And that guy's got a long history of being a reckless player. And I don't know where that's at. And I think it's going to be awfully hard to prosecute him, for manslaughter. But that was not a natural play to have your skate up that high on a play like that. No. I'm sure you guys have seen that. That warranted charges to me.
What did you think on that one, Harry? That one, I go the other way on it. I didn't know if it was the speed of the game and how everything was going.
I feel Harry, I feel like you can. The intent is tangible. I think you can almost feel that you can see that there's some intention behind it, and that what the result of that's going to be. I don't think it's a hockey play. I don't think it's a happenstance thing. I don't think it's a knee-jerk reaction. I think you can just kind of see the intent there.
Well, and I'm going to stop saying, like, obviously when you said you could see what the result was going to be. I mean, no one in the world could have ever fathomed that a guy would die. On a hit like that. But it was reckless, and it was a wanton disregard for the safety of others. And obviously nobody saw that coming. But I didn't like it at all. I think his history plays a lot in that too.
So you went.
And he drives a truck. He drives a truck too. That
guy. just the little one though. With the little, remember the little smaller truck. With it wasn't even an extended cabin, and the seat was sideways. You had to sit like sideways. It was like a thing for a while. I was like, "What are we doing?"
It would have been like a Euro truck. Yeah.
The Brashear or McSorley on Brashear, that one still gives me the heebie-jeebies a bit. Just how he falls back.
And then the other podium would be Bertuzzi and Moore. There's your three. That's your three of shows our age a little bit.
Three medalists.
That's your three. Your bronze, your silver, and your gold.
Well, guys, in retrospect, we look back at some of the hits, for example, that Paul Kariya took that ended his career. Like, you talk about predatory, you talk about a wanton disregard for a human safety. That was prevalent in the 80s and into the 90s. So the game has cleaned up a lot, and I'm thankful that it has. Now that I have a 14-year-old son, like I wouldn't want my kids seeing that crap today. And I'm sure, don't get me wrong, if my kid sees it on YouTube or probably has already, look at what happened with this guy named Scott Stevens in the past. My son just asked me the other day, who's the biggest hitter in the history of the game? And I said, Scott Stevens, like without even batting an eye. But what he did wouldn't be tolerated in today's NHL. Plus, he'd have to fight after every single hit, which is no good anyway.
What's your son's name?
Cole.
You have to show him pound for pound, though, Darius Kasparaitis, hitter.
Oh, yeah.
As far as hard hits go.
Yes.
So we're getting some texts coming in here fast and furious. Jay says Matt Cook on Mark Savard.
Yeah.
That one.
I know another one. The Gary Suter cross-check.
Gary Suter cross-check.
Gary Suter cross-check on, I can't remember who it was on, the side of the net there when he was in San Jose.
Yeah.
That was brutal.
That was a big one because it also knocked him out of the Olympics, I think, that guy.
Yeah.
Who was that?
Korea, was it?
I can't remember.
What is it? Gary Suter cross-check?
Yeah, I think it's. I thought it was Korea.
Google it. Might be Korea. It was somebody who got knocked out of the Olympics because of it.
It was Korea, 97, 98.
Yeah. That's another one.
Jerseys.
Honorable mention.
We got Ray said Sergei Momesso swinging a stick at Joey Kosher. Okay, Colson did some fancy footwork here. It's called stalling. This is the one that I always remember for a cheap shot, and it's a hidden gem. Let me know if you guys remember this one. Colson, play it.
Turley again. This time he's bumped by Babbage.
Oh, yeah.
Running, spins McPhee. Hard but clean body
Pavel Bure on Shane
Look
Churla with one of the dirtiest elbows ever. Churla was all over him in that game. If you're watching the stream, this is why you got to watch the stream. You get a little video content too. Bonus time. That was one of the dirtiest elbows. But then once in a while I'll get caught going down the ESPN classics, and they'll show some old, like that, the Oilers, Islanders.
Who's the one, Eric? You'll know the answer to this. Who's the Oiler that hit Rick Natras with that elbow in the playoffs? Was it Messier?
Yes.
Yeah, Messier, and
absolutely
to this day,
annihilated.
They still hate each other. I talked to Jim Pablinski recently about it, and he just said, like, I'll never talk to Mark Messier. Like, that crossed the line. And back in those days, everything crossed the line as far as I'm concerned, especially in retrospect. Like I said, what they put up with back then was just mind-boggling. And that hit you just showed on Churla, for those who didn't see it on the stream, like, it looked eerily similar to the one that knocked Sidney Crosby out for like a year and a half with that concussion. And I can't remember who that was in that outdoor game who just caught him leaving the zone with an elbow. And it wasn't as wanton, like, it wasn't as targeted as Bure's was. Like, Bure's was dirty as hell. The Crosby one sparked a national debate on whether or not it was intentional or not. But at the end of the day, it did get him on the button and cost him like a year and a half of his career. So we forget about that one.
I feel like it was Lars Eller that hit him, just clipped him. It was a harmless looking play, but I could be wrong.
It was a clip. The Bure one was calculated all the way down the ice. Then Shane Churla. Oof. There's another one like that too, where a star kind of took liberties into his own hands, or whatever you want to call it, and went after the guy and just dirtied him. But the Mark Messier elbow, that one will stand the test of time there. We might need two Mount Rushmores of dirty shots. Hey, the Calgary Flames, if the playoffs started today, I think the Flames would be in the postseason, wouldn't they?
Yeah, they would. It looks like it's still 40 games to go, but looks like there's a good chance it might just come down to them and the Canucks right down to the stretch. And that would be a fascinating race because one is an absolute gong show circus every day. And the other one is this feel-good story of found money. And to see those two battling down the stretch would be real interesting because also don't forget, like Vancouver is going to be a seller at the deadline. Brock Besser is gone. Like there's already plenty of talk that Pedersen or Miller's got to go, one or the other. Like it seems like a sinking ship, but they're neck and neck with the Flames, 1 point back. Flames are a feel-good story, man. Like they've got great goaltending. They're one of the hardest working teams in the league. Their work ethic is right up there, and they can't score goals, yet they still manage to stay in this race. It's quite an incredible story.
Is the feeling there that they've weathered the storm?
Oh, man. I wouldn't say that. I think there's a big question here. The question is it sustainable? Like, can this team continue to stay in a playoff race when they're averaging, I think they're 27th in goals per game, and they have the worst penalty kill or second worst penalty kill in the National Hockey League? Like, it's a bad combination. But, Dustin Wolf is kind of the beacon of hope for them. Like, you watch now, he's going to go on an extended run. Through, I think, 40 games, or 38 games through, they both played 19 starts. And but now they've made it very clear to me, talking to Craig Conroy and the coach, they want somebody to go on an 8 or 9 game run here, play 8 out of 9, and that's what Wolf's doing right now. He just played 4 in a row. They played back-to-back, so they put Vladar in last night, but same story. Vladar gets all the toughest starts, plays well, but they can't win with him because they can't score goals. Wolf, however, despite the lack of production offensively, can still get the job done. He's like 14, 6, and 2 or something. Like he's one of the most remarkable stories. Like I'd be interested to hear from you guys. Like, where do you put Wolf in the Calder Trophy conversation? Because I know we're halfway through and so much can change. But the numbers he's put up, like I think he's 7th in the league in goals against average. He's a rookie. Like, that does not happen in hockey. Goalies generally don't get much respect when it comes to the Calder Trophy race. But I'm telling you, like, he's definitely a finalist in my books, but where do you guys see him? Like, Lane Hutson's been great. Celebrini's the leader, I'm pretty sure. I don't know.
But did I hear today that Lane Hudson, sorry, Harry, that Lane Hudson is tracking above what Makar did in his rookie year?
I've heard some crazy numbers. I don't know where he's at right now, but about 15 games ago, I'd heard stuff like that. The numbers, he's right. He's leading. He's got about 32 points, something like that as a defenseman. Only 3 goals, but man, he's an assist machine. Like he's having a hell of a year. And don't forget Matvei Michkov, which is kind of the one everybody in America knows. I don't know where you guys, but where do you handicap it, guys?
I'll answer your Wolf question with a question. Basically, you just said that Vladar's gotten the bulk of the heavy start. So is his 14-6 record a little inflated then because of this quality of starts that he's gotten? And if so, how do you consider him in the Calder race if he's not facing the Carolinas, the Washingtons every night?
Like strength of schedule in NCAA.
Exactly.
Yeah, like he's had more home starts where the team is obviously way better. I mean, most teams are. He's played more playoff teams, but he's still faced, still places. He's made 21 starts. Like, he's faced a steady diet of legitimate contenders all around the league, and I could go through the list of all the teams he's faced. And it's formidable. It's not like they can completely hide the guy when he plays half the starts. I don't know. That could come into play a little bit. And I'm certainly not going to sit here and tell you that he should win the Calder Trophy if the vote was today. But if the Calder Trophy vote was today, he has to be a finalist. He has to be in the top 3. And to me, the guy who wouldn't be in there is Michkov.
I agree.
Coach. Okay.
I agree.
All right.
I think Michkov's stock has gone down, and Celebrini is the sexy pick. How many guys would vote on that?
All of us. All of us in the
Writers Association.
Like all the PHWA. It's the whole group of us. I don't know, what are we, 300 people? I don't know, 250 people.
Eric Francis is joining us, NHL insider for Saudi Mainline Chrysler, the new king of trucks in Saudi, Saskatchewan. The text line's buzzing. We back our 1 ton in, so when we leave, we don't back over the elderly lady walking past. That's from Roscoe in Kindersley, always chiming in. I knew someone was going to message in this one as far as cheap shots go. Bobby Clark on Harlamov. That one is, yeah. Who was? Yeah, that's a dirty. Those skates didn't have much for protection back then.
That also meets the definition of predatory.
Predatory, yeah. Like,
that's definitely
we
predatory.
Need to get this guy out of. And I've seen interviews with Bobby Clark since. We needed to get that guy out of the series. He was killing us. Oh, okay. So you just chop him down like a tree.
Yeah.
That's old school, man. That is old school. Done only by a guy like with 2 front teeth completely missing because he's been through the war.
From Flin Flon. They should have Harlamov's skate in the Hockey Hall of Fame in the display for the 72.
With a dent in it.
It was just a leather boot. It was like wearing a Ukrainian boot if you were dancing. Sorry, Harry.
No, that's all good.
You want to go to Washington?
And don't forget, hey, in that same series, JP Parise. Does anybody remember what he almost did? He was ready to do the Bobby Clark on a referee, but thank God for all people involved and basically our whole country. Thank God he didn't follow through on that swing. That would have been, if you followed through on a 2-hander on a referee, we wouldn't be having this debate, boys. That would be the clear winner right there.
Number one.
I would have liked. It's too bad it wasn't a video game. We could go back and rewind and then see how everything would have changed if that would have went down.
Back to the Future style.
Man, they hate each other.
If I'm a Leafs fan, how pissed am I that Matthews is going to go play in the Four Nations?
I don't know if he is, guys. Like, I certainly don't think he should either. I'm with you. Forget about the fans. How about management who writes the checks, pays this guy amongst the top players in the league? Yeah. You've been flying this guy to Germany and all over the place to get the best care possible. And then during his 2-week break, he's going to go play against the best players in the world. Like, he better prove conclusively between now and then that he's 100%. And I don't believe that's possible, given it's a back injury. So I'm with you. I think it's going to be a significant debate as we get up to it. I think people are already debating it in Toronto. And I'm on the side of, no way, Jose. You're not going. Besides, as a Canadian, I don't want him there. And the other thing is, they don't need him there. They're going to win that tournament without Austin Matthews. I hate to say it.
Who would be for it? Who would say, "Oh no, it's a great idea that he should go"? Like, I don't understand what the pro argument is.
Is it? I think you nailed it. Like, I think it's pretty safe to say the only person in the world who might think he should go would be him.
Yeah.
I guess his coach, his American coach and teammates all want him there. But other than that, outside of a handful of maybe 50 people, like, who thinks it's a good idea? Who? Nobody.
And I hate to stereotype the guy because I've never really been a huge Austin Matthews fan. But if he does go, and he is really the only guy who wants him to go, I think that just speaks huge volumes about where his head is at, what his leadership mentality is, and just speaks volumes about him.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd go that far, like, to sewer him like that. Because he would, in his mind, he would have to be able to prove to himself in his heart of hearts that, no, this doesn't pose any extra risk, and it doesn't jeopardize the second half of the season for me, for the team that is paying me gobs and gobs of money so I can play this game. So, if he really believes that he can do it and get through it, or his patriotism is such that he wants to so badly be on that stage for the, basically the first time, against all the best players in the world. I know he played in the last tournament, but you know, yeah,
he has to know.
It's not a good look.
He has to know, though, if he goes and things don't work out back in the NHL, that is going to be the number one thing they're going to point out and say he never should have went to the Four Nations Cup, and he shot the Leafs in the foot by going. And so why would he want to wear that? If he can just lay low, focus on getting his team to the Stanley Cup playoffs and go from there and put this exhibition aside.
It's a great point. He's putting a massive target literally on his back. And, you know, if anything goes sideways during the tournament or after the tournament, you know, everyone will point to that tournament and say, that was the reason why you never should have played. Like, who, even if he feels like he's 100%, who doesn't think that it's a good idea with about 25 games left in the season to take a 2-week break? Like, it makes all the sense in the world. Rest up and get ready for what matters most, which is the Stanley Cup playoff run for your team that's trying to get out of the first round. Like, I agree. I'm not convinced he's going to go. I don't think he's going to go. I think cooler heads, smarter people are going to talk to him and say, dude, these are all the reasons why, and you outlined most of them. These are all the reasons why there's no reason why you should be contemplating this.
I want to go to your trip to Los Angeles and just how unfortunate it was, how weird it was, game being canceled. Like, what did you see there? And I know it's kind of been a week now, and things have gotten worse in a lot of areas. What was it like there, Eric?
You know, almost symbolic of exactly what's going on there. It all happened so fast. Like, I was in Anaheim on the first night when all this started, and literally, like, it was before the game. We were having the media meal, and there were a whole bunch of local photographers all crowded around a TV. They couldn't believe that they were bulldozing cars out of the way that were trying to get out of Pacific Palisades, and they were all really nice cars. And everyone had been told, look, it's such a bottleneck, and you're not going to get out of here. We need you to leave the keys on the car, get out, and we're going to bulldoze all these cars to the side so that the fire trucks can get up and start saving some of these houses. So that was the first sign of it. And then by the time I drove into into LA after the game, I got in at midnight. You could see a bit of the glow from the hills, and the smoke. You could smell it all the way the whole drive. When I got up the next day, there were the pieces of ash that were like 1.5 inches wide. Like, I'd never seen that before. And that was 25 miles away. So that's how horrific the winds were. The smell of smoke was so bad they were handing out masks when we got to crypto.com. And I felt all morning that they were eventually going to cancel this game. Nobody was really sure. Clearly it was the right thing to do. Yeah. But the two lasting things for me, when I got to LA that first night, I was getting into an elevator and a guy had a bottle of wine. He goes, hey, you mind if I ride up with you? I go, oh yeah, no problem. Like, you got wine, let's go have a party. And he goes, I'm pretty sure my house is burning to the ground right now. My wife and I are just watching in the room to see if we can see it happen. And he just wanted to go get a bottle of wine to kind of help with the pain. Look, I wanted to give him a hug. I'd never talked to someone who was just about to watch their house burn to the ground. And the next day when we woke up at the airport, at the hotel went from being half full to being completely full. And it was almost because of families that had been displaced, had lost their homes, or were about to lose their homes, or were worried about losing their homes. So in the lobby were just nothing but cats and dogs in their crates, and there were little kids crying, and it was awful. Like,
there was one story I heard where it put it in really, really like perspective was, you know, a dad. I got a 13-year-old and an 11-year-old, and he's talking about the house, and there was something that the kid made for somebody that passed away, and it was like it was up on their wall, and just like you can't go and grab those sentimental pieces. Like, you look at the books behind you, and you're a hoarder, so you would have more than, you know. I'm looking at things that I would like, what would I try and grab, you know? And it'd be so difficult. And then, guys, I don't know where we're going long here, but I don't know where you guys stand. I think one of the most amazing professions or skills in the entire world, firefighting is up there. is those water bomber guys that can go and skim and fill up those things and then go. Like when you watch that happen, it just like that doesn't happen in real life, right? Like how is this incredible? Yeah. It's like
it's contrary. It's a feat of engineering. The fact that they can do that.
Yeah. It absolutely is incredible. And if anything good comes out of this from afar, it's, like we've had the conversation a couple times, if ever there was a fire that broke out, like, what would you grab here? Like, I think it's an exercise. Not only should people know how they would exit their house or their apartment, in case of a fire, but what would you potentially bring? And the story that resonated with me so much was Gary Hall Jr. I don't know if that name's mean anything to you, but he had won 7 gold medals as an Olympic swimmer. He's a pretty big name in the States. And he said he was 70 feet away from his medals. They weren't even in a safe. They were just in a closet. And so he wouldn't have to mess with the safe or anything. He just had to go in, get them 70 feet away. But the flames were on him so fast that all he could do was grab his dog and get out. He knew that he was leaving the medals behind and he'd probably never see him again. But he literally couldn't go 70 feet because it got that hairy of a situation. I mean, he said, I worked my whole life for those medals. The memories will remain, but the souvenirs are long gone, incinerated. So sad, man.
There you go. If you're watching the stream, I don't know how these guys do this. Like
That's incredible.
It
is amazing for sure.
It's unreal. Okay, well, we went really long today. Appreciate it, and we'll figure out. People are still going to be chiming in on dirty hits and dirty plays and all that, but that's what it's all about. And I really appreciate that you still have the Blockbuster card in the background there.
You never know what's old is new again. You never know when rentals are going to be a thing again. So that's a platinum card. Platinum, boys.
Sometimes you do.
If that thing's 70 feet, do you go and get it?
Oh, good question. No, but next week we're going to talk about this. If you don't know what this is, we can do it.
Oh, don't get Harry started on this too. Oh, the three we went through this.
We did, but I ordered the new one because of our conversation. I'm so excited. You have to unperforate every card. Oh my God, I'm so excited. But I'll be grabbing that if there's a fire. That one right there. Gratomatic, baby.
NHL insider Eric Francis. Thanks so much. Oh God, it's always awesome. It's for Southie Mainline Chrysler, the new king of trucks in Southie, Saskatchewan, 30 minutes north of Regina. Worth the drive every time, guaranteed. Save up to $19,000 off 2024 heavy duties right now. Plus, they got the 2024 Jeep Compasses starting at just $34,945. Southie Mainline Chrysler. Quick break time. You're watching the Sports Cage. We're streaming at sportscage.com.
620 CKRM is your home to country's greatest hits and the 90s at 9. 1 full hour featuring the biggest hits of the 90s. Garth, Reba, Alan, Shania, George, and so much more. No cassette tape or CDs required, and 90s mullets are optional. 90s at 9 for the town of Wolseley and the voice of Saskatchewan. 620 CKRM.
Farmers, grain, poultry, cattle, barn, house, and more. A generator is a necessity. Whether you need to keep operating during an outage, keep water bowls from freezing, grain drying during winter, or need power at a remote location, you need a generator from Shorty Generators. Now is the season to buy or service your generator on the farm to be sure you always have power when and where you need it. And Shorty services all makes and models, including PTO generators. Shorty Generators. Power where you need it. ShortyGenerators.ca.
Clear your calendar for Manitoba Egg Days, happening January 21st through 23rd at the Keystone Centre in Brandon. This year, you can take in over 550 exhibitors, including the new Produced on the Prairies Market. And with 34 entries in the Innovation Showcase and over 60 complimentary speakers, you won't want to miss this year's show. You can find all the info you need and purchase admission tickets at eggdays.com. Manitoba Egg Days, where the egg year begins.
Experience the next level of cleanliness with B&Boa's cleaning services. Whether it's your office, retail space, or home, they use advanced cleaning technology and eco-friendly products to deliver unmatched results. They even do commercial high-rise ventilation pipes dusting. They offer a special rate for seniors, 15% off for first-time customers. Visit their new location, 855 Arcola Avenue. Online at bboascleaning.com or call 306-522-5262.
Girl, this place is slay. Everything. I know, right? Where's Becky? Girl, she was talking to this guy who told her about Blasters TV, your SaskTel authorized dealer. Did she find out about wireless internet? Oh, yeah, and they've got it.
Okay, ladies, take it outside.
Take a chill pill. We're getting wireless internet.
Download.
Contact Glassers TV, your SaskTel authorized dealer in Moosomin today.
We're turning up the heat on trades at Capital GMC. Get into a new vehicle and keep your payment low with the $2,500 trade-in bonus. We're talking payments as low as $299 bi-weekly plus tax for a brand new Sierra. Or get into a GM-certified pre-owned vehicle complete with manufacturer's warranty, roadside assistance, and more. Plus, Capital's 100K giveaway is back. Check out capital100k.ca for your chance to win. Turning up the heat on trades at Capital GMC. Proud member of the Capital Automotive Group.
The all-new Sportscage. Watch our live stream at sportscage.com and on the radio at 620 CKRM.
Regina Pats in action tonight, 7 p.m., Brant Center, Wiener Wednesday. Go there and get your fill of pork missiles. SJHL, LaRange and Estevan, Kindersley and Melfort. That's a good one. Circle that one if you want to go cruise up that way. And Humboldt is in Notre Dame. AAA Midget tomorrow. Huge game at C6. I'm trying to pack it. It's like $10 for adults. Obviously cheaper for kids. And then there's a certain age where it's free. I'm not quite sure. But Regina Pat Canadians and Moose Jaw Warriors, two top teams in the league. We're going to talk to head coach of the Moose Jaw squad, Trevor Weisgerber, coming up in hour 3. Okay, Harry, we didn't talk about this yet. CFL, we had Noah Zerr on, talked Riders earlier. I wasn't going to get into this with him, but I thought it was just, I was really impressed. That's what I was. Really impressed with Ed Hervey in Edmonton saying about Geno Lewis and the contract for the wide receiver. He's saying, you know what? I'm not going to pay you that. He kind of skirts it and, I'm not going to get in. And you're telling him he's not worth it. Like, however you want to paint this picture now, I can't see him re-signing with you. But it's interesting how he wants the market to reset at the receiver position. I don't mind the play at all.
No, I think that's my one main takeaway from it too. Is I really appreciate his logic behind it, saying, "Look, there's somebody out there that's going to give you $330. Go get it. But if they only offer you $260, well, then maybe we can talk, and maybe we'll be willing to offer you $265." But I really like the fact that he's like, "Yeah, fine." He has no problem with players going out and getting what they think they're worth. But he also wants the market to determine what the league thinks they're worth. And I think, yeah, like you said, it's impressive. I appreciate his honesty. It's very matter of fact, and I don't think there's anything wrong with it whatsoever.
And now you look on our socials and everything, and obviously Rider fans are foaming at the mouth. It's like, let's go get, Geno Lewis for whatever. Maybe. But does he fit? Does he fit into the budget? It all comes down to budget to an extent. I am a firm believer of salary cap, schmallery cap, win. That is what matters. And if it's $100,000, like I think what is it, up to $100,000? It's a slap on the wrist. Like you pay in cans and bottles.
If you're $100,000 over, you pay another $1 for every $1 you spend.
Yeah.
After that, it's draft picks.
Yeah. Recyclables. Take them in and then pay the fine that way.
So, and then the other thing with the Rider fans being interested in it, he wasn't in the top 5 receiving yards. Sure, he led the league in touchdowns, but he wasn't in the top 5 receiving yards. Samuel Ellis had like 8 less yards total receiving yards than he did. Are you really going to give this guy $330,000 when you've already got a guy who put up his receiving yard numbers? I can't see it. There's other needs that the Riders would have that they could use $330 for instead of paying Lewis $330.
Emulous, speedster, all that. I like our receiving core. Now, if someone says, it's like the NFL days, it's like, here's a Randy Moss falling in your lap. Okay, but nothing's guaranteed for starters.
No.
And at what cost is it? And that's where Jeremy O'Day, and it's a tough job. It's like, okay, well, what are we sacrificing? Is it going to be a good fit to our culture and what we got going on? Yeah, maybe it would be nice to have a guy that can, quote, take the top off. But at what expense on a number of different levels?
For sure, because if you're going down that road, you're missing out on going down a few other roads. And also, no disrespect against Geno Lewis, but Randy Moss is a generational talent. And if you're getting a guy like that, Geno Lewis isn't the best receiver in the CFL, nor has he been the best receiver in the last 10 years in that league. So why are we talking about he's not a generational talent that the Riders would be lucky to have? Would they be lucky to add him? Sure, if he fits in. But let's not go crazy here, busting the bank to give a guy a bunch of money that isn't going to make your football team $330,000 better.
It'll be interesting to see what happens there. One thing, I do not think he goes back to Edmonton. Even if someone's out, if it goes down to 260, and now the Edmonton, it's like block call, who dis, new number. not answering.
It would be tough to go back and be like, hey guys, I'm here. Boy, Ed really gave me the business in the media. Like, it would be tough.
Yeah, I think his days in Edmonton are done. He can put the condo up for sale or whatever. Let's take a break. It is the Sports Cage. We're streaming at sportscage.com and on the home of the Riders, 620 CKRM.
Tiny toppings and cardboard-flavored carbs are not what you get when you order from Western Pizza. But they haven't just perfected pizza. No, my friend, add Caesar salad to that list, along with satisfying garlic toast, baked lasagna, crispy chicken wings, and every other item on their extensive menu. Western Pizza makes food for hungry people. So if you're only kinda sorta hungry, you should invite more people. Western Pizza, big on toppings, big on taste.
It's time to turn up the heat on trades at Crestview. For a limited time, get a $2,500 trade-in bonus on any trade-in. We're going to work to get you the same or similar payment to what you got right now. And we got something for everybody. Over 200 brand new vehicles, Jeeps, Rams, Caravans, and so much more. Plus, Capital's 100K giveaway is back in Crestview. Check out capital100k.ca for your chance to win. We're turning up the heat on trades at Crestview Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, proud member of the Capital Automotive Group.
You trust Affordable Trailer Sales for the best prices and selection for all your parts and service of travel trailers, cargo trailers, and more. But did you know they're also a fully SGI accredited repair facility? And they're now accepting any and all SGI claims for trailer repairs, from hail damage to wind damage to an accident and everything in between. They will take on your claim and get the needed repairs done. Affordable Trailer Sales, your SGI accredited repair facility. Book your appointment today.
Are you afraid of losing your car or home due to debt? Don't let fear or shame hold you back from seeking help. Bankruptcy is not the only option. A consumer proposal can reduce your monthly payments, lower your overall debt, and allow you to keep your assets. My name is Jasmine Brown. I'm a licensed insolvency trustee at BDO here in Regina, and I'm here to help you tackle your debt. Take the first step towards regaining control of your finances. Call 1-833-BDO-TALK or visit bdodebt.ca to learn more.
Meet your new favorite shade of green. At Nick Service, we offer the Fendt 500 Vario Series tractor that's tailor-made for your farm. Get better stability, ease of use, and comfort with one tractor. Whether you're feeding, tilling, baling, or hauling, this series is built for your farm. Experience up to 163 horsepower with this multi-purpose tractor. Visit Nick's Service in Emerald Park or go to nicksservice.com to get a quote on the Fendt 500 Vario Series.
The all-new Sports Cage. Watch our live stream at sportscage.com and on the radio at 620 CKRM.
I don't know where you stand in the NFL this weekend, but can we go back to last weekend? And I felt like an absolute rube thinking that the Los Angeles Chargers were a good football team. Justin Herbert looked like he was drunk all game. Oh, yeah. You turn your mic on. Something's wrong with your mic. I didn't. Anyway, Sportscage listeners out there. I think my hot take that the Chargers could knock off the Chiefs, obviously that is gone. And you teased me about it, Colson, on social media. Rightly so. Man, did they look terrible. And then Pittsburgh looked awful. Kind of expected that, I guess. I did hit the Rams, though. And I didn't want to rub that in yesterday with a rash, so luckily I was sick. But I just had a feeling that the Minnesota Vikings, coming off that game against Detroit, it's not even necessarily that there was a blueprint on how to beat them, but they didn't look good against Detroit. Sam Darnold looked scared, awkward, nervous. Use whatever you want. And the Rams just got to him and blitzed. And is that Sam Darnold's fault? Or is that the scheme and the game plan and not getting that? I don't know. But it was, we'll get into some NFL talk with Harry in hour 3. We also got in hour 3 coming up, Trevor Weisgerber, head coach of the Moose Jaw AAA Warriors. And then if you missed the Noah Zerr interview from earlier, talking hockey, he's suiting up. You got to listen to it. What a mountain of a man. Going to be playing hockey in the Winter Classic coming up on February 1st. That'll also be in hour 3. We're getting up against news. It is the Sports Cage. Thank you very much. We are streaming. Everyone that's subscribed at sportscage.com.
It's Grow Time! Canada's Farm Show Regina, Saskatchewan, presented by Viterra, the premier event for farmers, agribusiness professionals, exhibitors, and sponsors, happening March 18th to 20th, 2025. As the kickoff to the seeding and growing season, this dynamic trade show blends cutting-edge exhibits, insightful and hands-on learning seminars, and entertainment. It's the ideal event to collaborate, innovate, and grow your business. March 18th to 20th at Real District. Canada's Farm Show, ReginaSK.com.
0% financing or instant discount. The decision is yours to make at Future Ford in Melville. Right now, you can get into a brand new 2024 Ford F-150 and get 0% financing up to 72 months or get $8,000 off the price. Plus, as a bonus from Future Ford, they're throwing in free oil changes. If a new truck doesn't fit your lifestyle or needs, no problem. Get 0% financing for up to 60 months on select Escape, Bronco Sport, Mustang Mach-E, and more. Check out their website, futureford.ca, and see their great selection today. The future is Future Ford in Melville. CoolBet has all the hot games. For all the free-to-play casino games, head to coolbet.co. They've got sports odds, including Saskatchewan senior hockey, plus all the sports odds you can think of. From the ice to the field to the court, CoolBet has you covered. All at your fingertips. No risk, just thrill. So why wait? Get in the game and embrace the unexpected at coolbet.co.
Nobody knows the equipment market like Ritchie Brothers. If you're selling heavy equipment and trucks, Ritchie Brothers will get you the most buyers, industry expertise, and the widest selection of custom selling solutions. Sell equipment your way from your yard or a Ritchie Brothers facility. Ritchie Brothers will drive demand for your assets like no one else can. Contact your local territory manager today to get started. Visit rbauction.com to learn more about selling with Ritchie Brothers.
Are you afraid of losing your car or home due to debt? Don't let fear or shame hold you back from seeking help. Bankruptcy is not the only option. A consumer proposal can reduce your monthly payments, lower your overall debt, and allow you to keep your assets. My name is Jasmine Brown. I'm a licensed insolvency trustee at BDO here in Regina, and I'm here to help you tackle your debt. Take the first step towards regaining control of your finances. Call 1-833-BDO-TALK or visit bdodebt.ca to learn more.
Good evening. It's partly cloudy and it's 0 in Regina. I'm Corey Atkinson from the Harvard Media News Center with 620 CKRM News for Echo Sound in Fort Qu'Appelle. Stay connected with the new cell phone from Echo Sound. Call 306-332-6711. The federal government has given the green light to Bunge's purchase of Viterra, but several conditions have been attached to the approval. It calls on Bunge to keep the Viterra Canada head office in Regina for at least 5 years, with a minimum of 200 employees. 6 Viterra elevators located in proximity of Bunge canola seed crushing plants will also have to be sold. This provision is designed to maintain market competition for farmers' canola seed. Sask Ag Minister Daryl Harrison believes Bunge will follow the conditions.
My predecessor, Minister Merritt, was certainly involved in that and responded with the province's concerns, and then I'm sure that was considered in the federal order in council that was just released.
Provincial NDP leader Carla Beck says there is no mention on Bunge following through on a construction of a 2.5 million ton canola crush facility in Regina that Viterra announced in 2021. The City of Regina is looking for a new food and yard waste processor after parting ways with Evergen, the current contractor. Carolyn Kaleem, the city's director of Water, Waste and Environment, spoke today to the media.
The City of Regina and Evergen have agreed to mutually terminate our contract to build a permanent composting facility. Until a permanent facility can be constructed, the city's food and yard waste will continue to be delivered to the temporary site for composting.
Kaleem assured residents that there will be no changes to the current Green Card program. Since the program began, 20,000 tons of waste have been processed. The city remains committed to building a permanent facility and aims to reach its 65% waste diversion goal. Canada's energy minister suggests the Trump administration should build an energy and resource alliance with Canada instead of bringing in tariffs. Jonathan Wilkinson calls it a win-win for both countries.
It would actually help, I think, President Trump with some of the things that he campaigned on with respect to energy security, with respect to being able to actually use energy geopolitically in the international environment. But it would actually help Canada in terms of the development of its resources and the monetizing of them.
Wilkinson is the latest Liberal to visit Washington in response to Donald Trump's tariff threats. The U.S. president-elect has said he intends to impose a 25% tariff on all imports from Canada when he returns to the White House next week. Canadian climate scientists say this year's average global temperature is expected to rival 2024's record-breaking heat and is virtually certain to be hotter than any year before 2023. Bill Merrifield with Environment and Climate Change Canada says the department's forecast underlines the challenge of meeting the international target to keep warming to 1.5 degrees and avert some of the climate change's most serious impacts.
You look at the scientific literature, the window is closing very rapidly. It would require reductions in emissions that are extremely rapid in order to avoid it, is what the sort of current studies are showing.
The forecast suggests the global average temperature will be roughly 1.45 degrees warmer than it was in the late 19th century. It's 5:03, and that's your 620 CKRM News. Read more stories from around your community and around the province at sasktoday.ca and 620ckrm.com. Your weather is next.
Oh, finally. There it is.
Whoa, did you order pizza?
No, even better. I called Echo Sound, your SaskTel authorized dealer.
Oh, so what'd you order?
Well, they have all the top-of-the-line smartphones with all the latest features and so many great plans, man.
Oh, nice.
Oh, it is the pizza guy. Hey, guy.
Tell him to go away. We're waiting on Echo Sound. Echo Sound, your SaskTel authorized dealer in Fort Qu'Appelle. EchoSound.ca.
We'll still take the pizza, though.
Act fast when wildlife damage happens. Don't wait. Delaying may impact your claim. All Saskatchewan producers may be eligible to receive funding for both preventative measures and wildlife damage concerns. To learn more about wildlife damage prevention and compensation options, contact your local SCIC office or call 1-888-935-0000. SCIC, here at every turn.
It's 5:04, and I'm Corey Atkinson with your 620 CKRM Precision Weather Forecast, brought to you by Line-X Regina. Serious protection, killer looks, 1865 McCarra Street, and for Croft Electric. 27 years of trusted, reliable home, farm, and commercial service for all electrical needs. CroftElectric.com and all socials. Now here's Precision Weather meteorologist Phil Spivak.
The wind remains fairly strong for the evening and then finally settles down later on tonight. And in fact, just as the wind takes its time settling down, the temperatures take their time coming down as well. We'll back down to around -8 by morning, but we'll spend at least a lot of the evening hours very slowly dropping off. And then we turn right back around and we climb right back above freezing through the day tomorrow. The trade-off, though, is that the wind picks back up too. South to southwest wind increasing to 20 to 35 kilometers per hour for the afternoon. 1 degree the high. The temperature will again slowly drop off Thursday evening. Some light snow sets up, and in fact, the temperature may drop so slowly that some rain could mix in with that snow as it starts, but a few centimeters of snow likely as we do finally drop off to -9 and continue to fall through the day Friday down into the minus teens, likely -13 by day's end. Very windy, too, so some blowing snow even as the snow winds down. Partly sunny at times on Saturday, only -22 and -26 with sunshine Sunday. With your 620 CKRM weather forecast, I'm Precision Weather meteorologist Phil Spivak.
Across the province at this hour, Saskatoon is +1, Swift Current is +1, Assiniboia +2, Broadview Moosomin 0, Yorkton Melville +2, Estevan +1, and Weyburn is 0. At this hour in Moose Jaw, it's mostly cloudy, winds from the west at 35, and it's +1. Regina is partly cloudy, winds are from the northwest at 39, and it's 0. For more local news that matters to you, subscribe to our daily newsletter at sasktoday.ca.
When you want the best for your truck, you want Line-X. Your truck has withstood the harshest elements Saskatchewan has thrown at it. Rocks, gravel, rain, sleet, and snow, and left with no chips, no rust. Line-X protective coating keeps your truck's bed liners, rocker panels, and bumpers looking like brand new. Don't settle for Brand X. Go with Line-X. It's serious protection. Come see why everybody loves taking their truck to Line-X Regina for their rocker panels, bumpers, and more. Line-X. Make your truck complete. 1865 McCarra Street.
It's been a long day. I don't want to cook. I'm going to surprise the family with a pizza night. I'll be a hero. My family might actually pick me up in celebration and carry me around the kitchen, and they'll chant my name, and I'll be celebrated until the end of time when I...
This isn't Western Pizza. I thought you loved us.
Don't pizza fail. Get what they want. It's got to be Western Pizza. Big on toppings, big on taste.
And get it hot and get it fast. Western Pizza.
Broadcasting from Century Studios in downtown Regina, Harvard Media presents the all-new Sportscage, where Saskatchewan comes to talk local sports. Brought to you by Regina Motor Products, proudly serving Saskatchewan for over 70 years. Visit rmpchevrolet.com today. Be a part of the show. Call 1-866-767-0620 or text 306-936-6262. The all-new Sportscage. Streaming at sportscage.com and on the radio at 620 CKRM.
One more hour on this Wednesday for our friends at Regina Motor Products. No charge battery inspections right now, plus instant savings. Visit RMP today. Chris Harris, Barney Shinkera, Colson, Allen with you. If you missed any of it, go and check it out in podcast form. You can watch the stream again. Some interesting stuff throughout. Eric Francis, always. Sideways, front, back, up, down, every which way with Eric. A lot of fun there. We started the show with talking to Al Tuer on the passing of Rob Trumbley, former Moose Jaw Warrior. So thanks to Al for jumping on and talking about that. You can go back and listen to that. Also coming up here in about 10-15 minutes time, we're going to talk to AAA Moose Jaw Warrior coach Trevor Weisgerber, as they get set to take on the Pat Canadians tomorrow night at C6 here at the Co-op. Let's try and get it packed. It's going to be a great hockey game. U18 AAA midget. Harry, we were back in global days, man. We covered some dandies, right? Contacts were a wagon, and they would play in the league final. Beardies had a really good team that one year. It's just good hockey. It's fast. Kids are flying around, reckless abandonment. It's a little bit different now because, any kind of hit is like, oh, hit to the head, penalty.
Right.
Here we go. But I watched the last time they played, and we'll get into Coach Trevor about this. Like the amount of shots that are blocked now at that level. Like the NHL, okay, or pro, maybe even, the WHL. But now you go to the U18 level, and they're teaching it in Bantam how to properly, and it's just like, gee, it's a different game, different time.
I mean, we saw that at the World Junior this year. Some of the teams, there's the amount of like the Latvias and the amount of shots that some of those kids block, and multiple shots, and like unbelievable, like the way the kids put their body in front of block shots nowadays.
Just a part of the game. If you can't do it, you can't play. It's like, can you skate? Can you block shots?
And you have to do it at every level, because when you look at the Rangers from a few years ago, they led the league in block shots the year they went to the Cup final. Like that was their MO. They're blocking shots, and that's what you have to do. You gotta win those greasy battles.
SJHL tonight. Laranges and Estevan. They had a tough shootout loss last night, 3-2 in Weyburn, although Graham Brown, their tendy, stood on his noggin. 45 pucks he kicked away in the loss. Kindersley's in Melfort. That'll be a dandy. Trevor Blevin's team at the Northern Lights Palace. As always, take your trunks. Humboldt, Notre Dame. In the Western Hockey League at the Brandt Center, 7 p.m. puck drop. If you can't make it there, you can tune in or just take a transistor radio there, probably with headphones, though. 6:30 pregame show, 7 o'clock puck drop. It is the Red Deer Rebels in town to take on the Pats. Good news as well is it's Wiener Wednesday. You get your fill in pork missiles. Portland's at the Blades. Edmonton's in Swift Current. Brandon all the way in Victoria. That's as far as it gets for Brandon. Unless maybe Portland would be further, but they're out there. They're in Victoria. Lethbridge in Tri-City. Spokane and Kelowna. Junior B Loop. Silver Foxes from Regina making the trek into Assiniboia to take on the Rebels. Silver Foxes 4 points up on the Rebels in the Billy Johnston division. And a couple of senior ones for you out there as well. Carlisle and the Kipling Windhorse Oil Kings, 8 p.m. Carlisle, heavy favorite on coolbet.com, sitting -4.5, maybe sprinkle the over-under. And Kenaston Davidson, Sask Valley Hockey League. That's a good one. 8 p.m. in Davidson tonight. You can stop at that
A&W
gas station there that sells literally, as my mom would say, soup to nuts. I think they have both. I think they have Campbell's, and then the other thing, they got a whole nut collection. And then they got, I don't know, clothing of all different kinds and cassette tapes. Remember that old spinny cassette tape thing? They still have, they got everything at that gas station there. So we talked about this just before 5 o'clock. Not sure where a lot of people stand on it, and Rider Country 936-6262, if you want to chime in, is that Gino Lewis, his mama call him Eugene, I'm going to call him Eugene Lewis. I think his days in Edmonton are done. Ed Hervey's basically saying, I will not pay him $300,000. If you haven't seen the article on 3 Down Nation, it's quite hilarious. We did run some Ed Hervey audio yesterday with Maz had it, and he was talking about I'm not going to get into a discussion on where his price needs to be. He just kind of backtracks. I like, you said you like it too, Harry, where he's going with it. But I think the bridge has been burnt there. So
it's the old classic, tell me he's overpriced without telling me he's overpriced.
Yeah, he did. Probably just could have just said, well, we're doing a lot of changes here. New coach, new general manager, new owner late last year. We're just going to kind of see where things fall. And then
we wish him well.
Yeah, we'll negotiate when the time is right.
Yeah.
Instead of just coming out and being like, dude, you're not worth $300K.
Yeah.
Go and find out what you're worth and then let us know. I'd be shocked if he goes, well, yeah, I went across the street there. They're good for $250. What do you guys? No, he's going to be like, screw you. I'm out of here, Edmonton.
Yeah, it's funny because that's essentially what he is doing, is saying, like, if you think you can get more elsewhere, go ahead. And more power to you. But we're not getting it here. So your best gets to step in.
Your best gets to step in. It's a very Bill Belichick-ish move, kind of, in a roundabout way. He would never overpay for players. He didn't care who you were. Would never overpay. And he would kind of bring in guys to fit roles. Sometimes they were castaways. I remember like the one guy that I forgot that was so key in the 2015 Super Bowl was LeGarrette Blount. Okay, he was so good in college. He was basically a write-off at who was he with before? That Philly. Greg on Sports is listening. He's going to know.
Let's say wasn't he in Pittsburgh too?
And then, Patriots got him at a bargain, ran him into the ground, won some stuff with him, and then it was like, all right, gets to step in, as you say.
Yeah. Yeah, don't let the door hit you on the way out.
Alan's looking it up.
He was with the Bucks from 2010 to 2012. After that, he went with the Patriots 2013. And then he had a second stint because before he was with the Steelers, and then he came back for 2014 to 2016.
Yeah. So we started with the Bucks.
Oh, he initially started with the Titans. Then he went to the Buccaneers. Then from 2010. And
did he ever play with Philly? Or am I lost? Did he play late in his year?
He did.
Late in his career?
2017.
Oh, yeah. Didn't he beat the Patriots in the one Super Bowl?
I believe so.
I'm asking a lot of questions here, Alan. Thanks for that, though. But anyway, $300K. And then now, so Rider fans are going to be like, that's the guy we need. Take the top off. You're shaking your head. You can turn your mic on. You're allowed.
2017 was when the Eagles beat the Patriots.
Oh, yeah.
With Blount.
Ugh. No business losing that Super Bowl to Nick Foles. The Philly special. Shut up. No, it's, Rider fans. You brought up Samuel Emilus and how he was close stats-wise. Was it stats-wise?
Within 10 yards. MLS had, within 6 yards. 6 yards separated the two of them. And
it's a good point.
Touchdowns.
So at what
if you get those
cost?
5 touchdowns from somebody else, then like you get your Keyshawn Johnson had 5, Sean Bain had 5. I mean, you're making up your difference there. So what do you I just don't think that Geno Lewis is, if you want to pay somebody that much money, I just think you can do better than Geno Lewis. I just don't think that he's worth that much money for what he's going to bring to your ball club. And that just also sends a message to your Rider receiving core that you don't think any one of them can get the job done.
That's a good point. As we talked about, that culture, everything is so good in that locker room. And then on the other side, people are going to say, culture, schmulture, we need to win. Yeah, I guess. It's just so careful and delicate.
You can't win without a good culture. I defy you to find me a team that won a championship in any of the big four sports where the team was like, this team wasn't a team. It was just a bunch of individuals who just managed to be pretty good and got the job done. It never happens. It's happened in the history of never, as they would say. There's
The Lakers?
always got to be... No, because I think that they still had the culture there that it was Kobe's team. And you have to go back a ways, unless you're talking like LeBron era Lakers, but...
No. Like Kobe and Shaq.
Yeah, but that was the culture. It was their team. And you bought in or you didn't. And Phil Jackson. That's the type of culture that they had. I mean, it doesn't have to be a kumbaya culture where it's like everybody is pulling the rope in the same direction. You can still have your superstars, but I think you still have to foster a habit of winning. And those guys, the culture in LA was those guys are studs. Kobe's arguably the greatest basketball player in the history of the NBA, and Shaq has a lot of titles as well. So, I mean, that's the culture that you're following. You're hitching your wagon to those two leaders and getting them a sporting cast. But I just don't think in Riderville that they need to upset the apple cart. Let's let them play a full season with a healthy receiving core and see what happens. Are they that far behind the rest of the league? I would say they arguably have a very deep receiving core compared to the rest of the league. So adding Eugene Lewis, I think, just sends that message that we don't think that you guys can get the job done, or there's nobody that can fill that role. And I would agree to disagree. I think there is. You got to give them the reps.
We got Dante Myers got hurt last year early.
Yeah.
Joe was banged up. He's going to be a force. Yep. At what cost? That's the whole thing. What's it worth? Is it worth it? Is the juice worth the squeeze?
Exactly. And isn't Justin McGinnis a free agent in Calgary?
BC.
Or BC, sorry.
I don't know if he's a free agent. Is he a free agent?
I thought he was a free agent as well. So, I mean, if you're going to spend money, why wouldn't you go get the league's leading receiver?
That torched us early in the year last year.
I don't know. I don't think he's the right fit for Saskatchewan. I mean, but I'm not the general manager of the team. And there's a lot of people out there that know a lot more about it than me, and I'm not inside that locker room. But from a observer standpoint, I just don't think that their receiving core is that far behind the rest of the league where they need to add an expensive piece like that who isn't going to give you that much more than you already have.
McInnes is a free agent, yeah.
He is free agent.
Yeah.
There's an option.
Yeah. So what's he gonna command for dollars?
Let's go to our clutch performer for next service in Emerald Park, your local Massey Ferguson, Challenger, Rogator, Gleaner, and Fent dealer. Call 781-1077. Bidsy wanted me to get this one out again today. He said he forgot to do it yesterday, and I want to give it a shout-out. Everybody in Ituna, that was part of the big opener. He said the fine Ukrainians out there. The Ituna rink, it was 10 years ago, Kraft Hockeyville, that scam of a contest. It did benefit them. They were able to, they got $25,000 from Kraft, got the ball rolling. Excellent new facility. So congratulations, everyone in Ituna. You are our clutch performers for Nick's service in Emerald Park, your local Massey Ferguson Challenger, Rogator, Gleaner, and Fent dealer. And another one, like I said yesterday, in a losing cause, L'Orange Ice Wolves goaltender Graham Brown, 45 saves in the loss. I don't know if he'll get to start again tonight in Estevan or if they'll let him take the night off. That's a busy one. Hey, Coach, I don't got to play again today, do I? Killer Kaminsky, back in my day. Yeah. Okay, so NFL this weekend. First off, it's Wing Wednesday at the Canadian Brew House. 69-cent wings, mountain of flavors, flavor of the month. Do the wing thing every Wednesday at the Canadian Brew House. Got really hungry just thinking about that. Houston Any chance of beating the Chiefs? No.
I don't think so. Not at Arrowhead.
That's a big problem too.
Yeah, I feel like no. I feel like no.
No.
Especially Houston hasn't looked incredible the last number of weeks.
And they're really good at home. They're like different away from home.
Yeah. I think at Arrowhead I just can't see Houston going in and winning.
Washington, Detroit.
Well, I mean, I gotta listen to my head instead of my heart for this one, but I hope against hope that Detroit can get it done. Washington's defense is mediocre, middle of the pack for the league. Detroit had the best offense in the league. I don't think Washington has. If they can shut down Jaden Daniels, then they're good, because Washington doesn't have, like, Robinson as their running back. He's not a Gibbs or a Montgomery. Like, he's not going to carry the mail for them enough that he can get the job done in a playoff game, I don't think, against Detroit.
Quickly, the other two quick here. We're up against time. Los Angeles, Philly. This is intriguing.
Yeah. After how LA looked against Minnesota, I wouldn't bet against them, but I mean, Philly, you got to give them the advantage.
At home, and they're weirdo fans.
Yeah.
Ravens, Bills is just an absolute pick 'em. Pick 'em.
Yeah, flip a coin.
Yeah. Okay. We're on the same boat there. Quick break. We come back. We're talking AAA U18 hockey. It's a big one tomorrow. C6. Let's try and pack the place. It's the Warriors and Patsies. We'll talk to head coach of the Warriors, Trevor Weisgerber. We're coming up on the all-new Sportscage, streaming at sportscage.com.
Canada's largest indoor farm show, Manitoba Egg Days, is back for the 48th show. Mark your calendars for January 21st through 23rd as we invite you to see over 550 exhibitors, over 60 speakers, and over 30 new egg innovations. You can find all the show details at eggdays.com. Early bird tickets are available now for $15 per day or $40 for all 3 days. We will see you at Manitoba Egg Days, where the egg year begins.
Hey farmers, the Crop Production Show is here. Come on down and meet Core Grain and Hall C, booths C44 and C45, to chat with our experts about smarter grain storage and handling solutions. Core Grain is your trusted partner for grain storage solutions across the prairies, dedicated to offering you the best grain storage and handling systems. We work tirelessly to customize grain monitoring and conditioning systems to fit your specific vineyard plan, now and in the future. Core Grain, doing the right thing for your farm. See you at the Crop Production Show.
So, since that little ding on my car last week, I don't know where to take it.
I don't even know.
That's easy. Take it to Regina Motor Products.
Who said that?
I did. Down here. I'm Terry the Tire. Regina Motor Products Chevrolet Collision Center and SGI accredited auto body repair is a full-service collision and body shop that works on all makes and models. Just submit your claim to SGI and set an appointment to get your appraisal done. Easy.
I bet you're tired after saying all that.
South at Highway 1 and 6, Albert Street. RMPChevrolet.com.
Sask Power is working to improve the power system in your area. In order to do their work safely, they need to shut the power off for customers in Regina, Rothwell Place, 1,000 blocks of Dewdney Avenue East, 9th Avenue East, 1,500 blocks of Lakon Street and Bond Street, from 12 p.m. to 4 p.m. tomorrow, January 16th, weather permitting. For updates on this outage, visit saskpower.com/outages. Sask Power apologizes for the inconvenience and thanks you for your patience.
You say
move,
and your cows say you tell them
your water is right over there,
and they say you can't convince a cow to move to the water, so move the water to the cows with a Keln Solar Livestock Watering System. With a Keln Solar Livestock Watering System, you can put your pump pretty much anywhere without the cost of hooking up to the grid. Learn more about the Keln Solar Livestock Watering System at kelnsolar.com. Keln Solar, we move water.
The all-new Sports Cage. Watch our live stream at sportscage.com and on the radio at 620 CKRM.
Welcome back to the Sports Cage. It's time to talk hockey again. We kind of ran things down tonight. AAA midget or U18, call it what you want. Stars Mintos if you're around PA, and Blazers Wildcats. But tomorrow, I think we were officially trying to pack C6. Pack the 6. It's a big clash. It's the Regina Pats Canadians and the Moose Jaw Warriors. You heard me talking about it on the show. The last time these guys played regular season, it was in December, and Moose Jaw pulled it out. Excellent game, back and forth. So I said, hey, let's get some hype around this, and let's talk to the head coach of these Moose Jaw Warriors. Joining us on the Western Pizza Guest Hotline, Trevor Weisgerber. Trevor, thanks so much for hopping on the Sportscage to talk a little AAA U18.
Thanks for having me.
So, was the last one that went overtime, right? At C6?
No, I think we had scored late.
Oh yeah, you
third, I believe,
scored late.
We ended up winning on regulation there. I think we scored 2 or 3 in the third there to win in regulation on them there.
That's what it was. Yeah, it was a late goal. So tomorrow you guys go at it again. You're both coming off the Circle K and the Max. You went there. They had a little bit more success, I guess you could say, than you guys. But these two teams pretty evenly matched across the board.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, just with the standings alone, I think we're a couple points up on them with a game or two in hand on them. So I think, I mean, it's very evenly matched. I mean, they got a good hockey team. Haji's done a good job over there, and we're, as for ourselves, I mean, yeah, we've had a good season here, good start. I guess we're almost 3/4 of the way through here, but and then just coming off the Max, like you had said, I thought our group did real well there. I mean, our goal was to get into that top 16, which we did. And I mean, I think just the experience alone, the experience for our guys and things like that has really helped us here. And I think will help us through the rest of the regular season and into the playoffs.
What makes your team tick? Like, you know, is it a couple of gunners? You guys deep goaltending? What makes you guys tick?
Yeah, I think that's our biggest thing is just all the way through our lineup. I mean, up front, 1 through 11 on our forwards. I think our depth up front is real good. I mean, we have a younger D, but they're skilled. They see the ice well, and then our goaltending's been lights out. I mean, Kex is a second-year guy. He's a 17-year-old, and he's really taken a big step this year with our group, and he's been really, really good. And then Pager's been just a young guy, 15-year-old, and I mean, when he's come in, he's done very well. But I mean, to have Kex just more as a mentor and stuff like that, you couldn't ask for a better guy there.
A lot of people are watching that scoring race too. We'll get to the Pat Canadians sniper in a second here, but your guy Ryan Gibbs is right there scoring. You know, he's only 2 points back going into this one tomorrow. Talk about Ryan Gibbs for you and how important he's been this year.
He's had a heck of a season, obviously. I mean, points wise, and I mean, we're as a staff and as a group, we're not big on the stats part of it, like as far as numbers and things like that. I mean, we always talk about if you're playing the game the right way and you're getting opportunities and you have possession. I mean, the game's just so much about possession now that if you have the puck and you're playing the game the right way, that you're going to have opportunities to score. And I mean, Ryan's had a heck of a year up to date, and I mean, whoever we've put him with, I mean, he's had a couple different line mates throughout the year here, but he's just done very well. I mean, he's adapted. This is his second year in the league. I mean, as a 16-year-old, I mean, from last year to this year, it's night and day. And I mean, we always knew he could score and put up points and things like that. But I mean, he's really taken a big step this year. And obviously for our hockey club, he's a big part of it.
How do you, I guess, combat the firepower that the Pat Canadians can throw at you with, Jonas Sievertson coming back from PA, and then of course young Maddox Schultz?
Yeah, I mean, Schulte's obviously been since he's been a young kid, he's done this, right? So I mean, he's just so dynamic, and with his skating and his vision, he just thinks the game like his IQ's through the charts. So it's you always got to know when he's on the ice, and I mean, we'll do our best to keep him contained. And then obviously with that line with Sammy, he's just a big guy, and he obviously can score goals. So I mean, we got to do our best to keep those guys at bay if we can, and then I mean them too. I mean they're pretty deep there as well. So I mean, we just need to make sure that we as a group we have to do a good job with that, and yeah, it should be a good hockey game.
And then maybe just in closing, like just how maybe special this year is for Moose Jaw so far, right? Because if you follow the AAA loop for a long time, you know, there was the Contacts were always there, Pat Canadians, and then the Blazers have come on for the last little bit. Then you had, you know, maybe a Warman in there. You know, for Moose Jaw to have this success this year, probably a testament to you. You don't want to toot your own horn, but your scouting staff and building this team and finding guys that, like, we talked about the one kid from Edam, right? Like it's different things like that where it takes kind of a collective group.
For sure. I mean, with our staff and just everyone, and like our big thing is. We obviously
it's grow time. Canada's Farm Show, Regina, Saskatchewan, presented by Viterra.
To make this team, and our big thing is just like first and foremost is like we just want to bring in good kids, like, and kids that want to get better and kids that want to move on, and I find this year just our group, like as a whole, and just good kids on and off the ice and want to play for each other, and I mean, it sounds cliche, but I mean, it's just so important to have that. And it makes things easier for us as a coaching staff. I mean, and our leaders doing a good job and things like that. And I mean, I just think that everything kind of fell into place with that. And just right from the start of the year, I mean, we had quite a few guys returning, and then I think we had 10 or 11 returning, and then the 8 or 9 that came in, they just bought in, and it's been really good. I mean, it's been a fun year, and I mean, hopefully we can just keep it going throughout the regular season here, and then once you get to the play, I mean, it's you know, anything can happen, right? So I mean, we're just going to keep preparing, and once we get to there, whether we're first or fifth or third or whatever the case is, we'll figure it out from there, and it should be a fun rest of the year.
It's tomorrow night at C6 at the Cooperator Center. The Moose Jaw Warriors, Regina Pat Canadians. Probably, like I've said a number of times, probably I think it's $10 to get in. The best $10 value entertainment-wise that you're going to spend anywhere. Trevor, thanks so much for taking some time here, and good luck. We'll watch how things shake down tomorrow night.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you having me on there, and we're looking forward to the game tomorrow night.
Right on. Trevor Weisgerber, head coach of the Moose Jaw AAA Warriors. Big one tomorrow. It is the Sports Cage. We're streaming at sportscage.com, and as always, on the home of sports in Saskatchewan, 620 CKRM.
It's grow time. Canada's Farm Show, Regina, Saskatchewan, presented by Viterra, the premier event for farmers, agribusiness professionals, exhibitors, and sponsors, happening March 18th to 20th, 2025. Featuring a vast trade show with hundreds of companies with special offers, clinics, and learning sessions, along with live entertainment in Young's Equipment Farmhouse Lounge. This is your must-attend spring event. That's March 18th to 20th at Real District. Get your tickets at Canada's Farm Show, Regina, SK.com.
Farmers, grain, poultry, cattle, barn, house, and more. A generator is a necessity. Whether you need to keep operating during an outage, keep water bowls from freezing, grain drying during winter, or need power at a remote location, you need a generator from Shorty Generators. Now is the season to buy or service your generator on the farm to be sure you always have power when and where you need it. And Shorty services all makes and models, including PTO generators. Shorty Generators. Power where you need it. ShortyGenerators.ca.
It's time to turn up the heat on trades at Crestview. For a limited time, get a $2,500 trade-in bonus on any trade-in. We're going to work to get you the same or similar payment to what you got right now. And we got something for everybody. Over 200 brand new vehicles, Jeeps, Rams, Caravans, and so much more. Plus, Capital's 100K giveaway is back in Crestview. Check out capital100k.ca for your chance to win. We're turning up the heat on trades at Crestview Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Proud member of the Capital Automotive Group.
At Freeze Tallman, we know that you have a lot of options when it comes to purchasing lumber and other building materials. We'd like to take this time to thank you for choosing us to supply your building materials for over 65 years. We're proud to have been a part of turning your plans into reality. So for all of your upcoming projects, see Freeze Tallman in Regina and Fort Capel. Let's get you building.
Sask Power is working to improve the power system in your area. In order to do their work safely, they need to shut the power off for customers in Bushel Park, north side of the highway, from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. tomorrow, January 16th, weather permitting. Again, the power will be out for 1 hour tomorrow from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. for customers in Bushel Park, north side of the highway. For updates on this outage, visit saskpower.com/outages.
The all-new Sports Cage. Watch our live stream at sportscage.com and on the radio at 620 CKRM.
Speaking of hockey, coming up on February 1st in Saskatoon at the Merlis Belcher Center, it is the Winter Classic for the Rough Rider Foundation, big charity event. It's Team Chris Getzlaff, coached by Kian Schaefer-Baker, taking on Brett Lawther's team, coached by a Joe. Somebody's got to get one of those guys the Reg Dunlop jacket. Probably a Joe. First, get him to watch Slapshot. If he's a Canadian kid, though. He's probably watched Slapshot. He's a big Brooks Bandits fan. And get those guys on the bench with a little plaid suit, leather coat. Get a book, underline certain scenes. Let's go out on the Western Pizza guest hotline. Great night for Western Pizza if you're not going to go eat hot dogs at the Brandt Center. Perfect pizza, all the Greek food that you love, like souvlaki, ribs, and salads. Noah Zerr joining us again. You're a friend of the program. This is like 2 times in the last month. I feel super privileged. You're up there in Saskatoon. So now word on the street is you are going to be twirling in this hockey game up there. Can you confirm that?
Yeah. I don't know about twirling. More like trying not to fall on my face every 30 seconds, but it'll be fun. It's always a good time.
Do you know what team you're on?
No, I think they usually do it's like a fun little draft announcement like the night before. You have no idea. Everything kind of gets picked behind the scenes. Then you show up and they announce the teams, and there's some rah back and forth in the old lounge about who's going to score the most goals and which team's going to win. And we end up usually scoring 10 goals aside and going to a shootout somehow every year, but it's a blast.
That's awesome. Kian Schaefer-Baker as a coach or a Joe? What does it? Which one would you lean to? Which one would be more your kind of? Who would be the player's coach there?
Honestly, I feel like they're. It's hard to go wrong with either of them. You know what I mean? They're both fun-loving, kind of goofy guys, but they're very similar to each other. They're both kind of raw. Like get the boys hyped up and get them to go run through some faces and score some goals. And I don't know. It's hard to pick. They both got great style too. So I'm sure one or two of them is going to be rocking amazing suits come game day.
Okay, what height and weight right now for you in the off season is what?
I think I'm about 6'7" and sitting around like 330, 335.
Okay, when's the last time you skated, like in a rec, in a kind of just a pickup hockey game?
Probably the last Winter Classic we had.
Really? So kind of,
yeah.
You're a once a year guy. You're that guy that's like, where's my gear?
Yeah.
I didn't even air it out last time.
Yeah, seriously. I might have to do some pregame washing for sure. But it's fun. I grew up playing hockey, so I grew up in a small town of Langeberg and played hockey there for 10 years, and it's always fun to get back on the skates. But yeah, there's definitely some rust to be shaken off.
So I'm not gonna lie, the idea of seeing you in your 6'7"ness, 330-pound glory out there is intriguing. From your standpoint, who are you looking forward to seeing out there, and who do you think fans will get a kick out of seeing?
I wonder if Peter Godber's going to show up again in his football helmet, the Dan Clark-esque get up. I'd love to see him out there. He was such a blast last year. He's a good team guy, and he doesn't take himself too seriously, so he's a lot of fun to be around. And yeah, other than that, I think there's plenty of good hockey to be played on both sides. Like I know Ryan Getzlaff was there last year. I'm not sure who's coming this year, but Chris will be there. Like all those guys are just a blast to be around. So it'll be fun to just get back on the ice and see who plays the best after a year off.
I skated with Brett actually last week. I was supposed to skate last night again. I couldn't. He scored 3 sick backhand goals in the game, and I'm not talking like come in and just like little backhand. Like we're coming in on an angle, not a lot of room, shelved it. So he's like training. You could tell like he's getting ready for this thing, which is awesome. We're having him on the show I think Friday this week. When we're in Kenora, we're going to have him on. So let's go back to the Langenberg piece here, because when we had you on, of course, Langenberg, Jess Moskaluk, and you, right, the two pride of Langenberg. But when you go back to when you were playing, I guess probably Adam, Pee Wee-ish, maybe Bantam in there, were you the biggest kid on the ice?
Oh, by far. It was a bit crazy. I think every time I took the ice, you heard parents complaining from the sidelines going, there's no way that kid's 10 years old. There's just no way. I think I was
just birth certificate controversy.
Yeah. They just had to trust that I was of age, I guess. Yeah. But yeah, it was a bit crazy. I made up for it with my lack of coordination and my overall hockey skill. So they didn't have too much to worry about. But yeah, there was definitely some fear every now and then.
What position did you play?
I started off as a center. And just mostly forward.
That's a lot to handle down low.
Yeah, center and winger mostly.
Forward.
That's surprising.
Yeah.
You think with your size they'd just be like, we're putting him on the point.
Yeah, maybe. They probably should have, but I think growing up I might have had a lack of skill at skating backwards, so they didn't want me as the last line of defense.
300 and what was it? 320-ish poundage you're weighing? 340?
Like, 330 around there.
What kind of flex do you use hockey stick wise?
Oh, the stiffest one you can find.
Like you might as well go with the old wood ones and just for safety issues.
Yeah. I think I have it's a Bauer Total 1 that I bought when I was in like grade 12 probably. And
you might need to tape two together
for me. Yeah, honestly. I've had to put a plug in every stick I've ever used and still barely works.
Oh,
it is fun.
That is so that is a big body on skates. Like even the rivets on skates and all that. Like when you skate, people are gonna hear you come. I love it. I think it, and I would to be honest, if I was a Joe or Kean Schaefer Baker, it's like park yourself in front of that net, especially on the power play, and then we'll have guys buzz around and rebound, and then you just cause havoc in front of the net there. No, it's
that was pretty much every coach I've ever had. Teaching point. Just park right in front of the net. Don't go anywhere. Don't do anything else.
The parents are yelling, "Get that goon off the ice!"
Yeah.
How old is he? Seriously. Works at the mine. Let's talk some football here. That's going to be a lot of fun.
For sure.
When I say the name Trevor Reed, like what comes to mind after playing with him last year?
I had the pleasure of playing beside Trevor for most of the year, just kind of through practice. And then we started, I think, 4 games beside each other. So I've had some experience with him for sure. And he's like probably a world-class athlete. He can handle a playbook pretty well. I think there were some new concepts that some of us Canadian guys helped him with a little bit. Don't want to take too much credit. He's his own man, and he worked his butt off all year long and started every regular season game we had. And in a year like last year, that was a bit uncommon. So he's a warrior, and he fought through a lot of things, and yeah, I'm just so happy to see him kind of having success and going to the NFL and getting a shot, because I think he deserves it for sure.
What do you think is the biggest thing that he'll need to overcome in order to stick, to make an impact?
I think it's hard to say. I don't think he lacks anything physically. I think physically he's a specimen. Like last year, we'd finish a long drive and he'd run to the end zone and do a backflip, right? Like he's 310 pounds and flying through the air. Wow. He's probably the most athletic lineman we had by a stretch. I think for him to have success, he's just gotta get to work. And yeah, I think it's the NFL, right? So you're not there for very long, and you got to make the best of your opportunity. And I think he has all the tools to do that. And I think honestly, good things will happen.
Other side of the ball, a couple of signings this week. Rider fans are excited. For sure. Jameer Thurman and Malik Carney are back in the fold.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Huge. I think it's huge for us. I had the pleasure of playing with Malik and Thurman when I was in Hamilton 2 years ago, I guess now, and they were the key pieces then, and they're the key pieces now. I think we have a lot of great defensive players, and you can't take anything away from those guys like Micah and CJ Revis and all these guys that are just amazing athletes. But Thurman and Carney were showstoppers for us last year. They were amazing and just fun to watch.
And it kind of, talked to Coach Mace, I think it was last week, and it's like any job, any profession, that if your contract's up and I want to stay here, you want to, this is good. It's a good fit. The re-signing of guys that we're seeing in Rider Nation, it's a testament to what's going on with the organization in that locker room with the coaches.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I think it's a culture change. I think it's where guys want to be. I think I'm super excited as a Rider and as a fan of the Riders kind of growing up. I think we're kind of coming back to that culture that I think we were at around that 2013 and 07 Grey Cup. It felt like a family, and it felt like these are guys that you could have lunch with, and these are guys that kind of understand what it means to live and work in Saskatchewan. And I think this is kind of the second coming of that. I think these guys are happy to be here, and they're excited to get to work, and they're excited to just represent Rider Nation.
The one thing that came out in early December was the report card on every team. And, some teams are complaining about their planes, and it's the Winnipeg. It's like, it's not your plane. It belongs to WestJet. Yeah. But, anytime I've ever been around what you guys are doing there at Mosaic Stadium, like it is first class, above board around, you come from the Huskies organization on the college front. They do everything top notch there as well. Pretty tough to nitpick, to find things that are wrong with the organization when it comes to a report card like that.
Yeah, I think absolutely. I think from the moment I first walked in the door, I had never really been inside New Mosaic until I signed with the team, and they gave me the tour, and right away, there's a lot of good things around the league, and I've had maybe the unfortunate circumstance of seeing a few locker rooms in my short years. But as soon as I walked into Mosaic Stadium, there it was a world of difference. From the training facilities to the rehab stuff to where the trainers work to where we get our food. Just the setup in general. The guys that take care of us. It's A++ probably across the board for me and my teammates.
You've probably been in the Langenburg Warriors senior hockey dressing room somewhere along the lines too. You can kind of tell the guys, hey, I've seen some beauty rooms.
Yeah, I try not to go around advertising, but yeah, you get to see some cool stuff.
And then just the other thing is, last time we had you on, you told the cool story about your dad getting tickets to the Grey Cup. I think it was the 13 Grey Cup.
Yeah.
And how awesome that was, and just the family and you being from Sasky and all that. It's a little bit weird, and being a Saskatchewan guy, this, that we don't have a schedule yet. People like to kind of plan things in Saskatchewan around the rider schedule, and now we're getting into, we're January 15th here. We don't have a schedule.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't have too much advice on that, but yeah, I can totally understand where you guys are coming from. I think we're just as nervous on the player side of things. We want to see where guys are lining up and where our bye weeks are and what the season's going to look like. And it's an anxious time for sure, especially heading into February, free agency, lots of change and lots of big steps ahead of us for sure.
Yeah. And it's like, we got to get this going. There's weddings. They're planning weddings in Langenburg, and we want to do it around rider games. Like, come on, let's get this out. Okay, it's going to be a lot of fun. February 1st. I can't wait to see. Like, any training before, you got finding an ODR late at night and kind of going to do a little bit on your own, like Dean Youngblood style, or you going into this thing cold?
Probably a little bit of shinny with the guys. Some late night beers and a couple post games or something like that.
Perfect. It's
all
awesome.
The training you need.
Yeah. Noah,
sounds right.
Thanks so much for hopping on today, taking some time. It's going to be a lot of fun. Always appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, great to talk to you guys. Thanks again.
Oh, what a beauty. Good Saskatchewan boy. Offensive lineman for our Saskatchewan Roughriders, Noah Zerr. From Langenburg, Saskatchewan. Yeah, Harry, I'm telling you, back end, reach alone, right? Like,
for sure.
But then it's like, yeah, okay, well, just get the puck deep and let him do his thing.
Yeah.
Go in front. If you want to go in the corner, go ahead. If not, stand in front. Bang away. Have fun, goalie. Especially if the goalie's like a little guy. Oof. Tough assignment there. It is the all-new Sports Cage. We are streaming at sportscage.com, and we are on the home of the Saskatchewan Roughriders, 620 CKRM.
Hello, everyone. Ryan Young here, host of Sask Ag Today. Joining me today